Futures back in negative territory here this morning, already giving up an early slight advance to trade back in the red, coming off that steep decline we saw on Friday. Market-wide sell-off into the close on Friday. It was not pretty. We had the S&P down 3.63%, leading the way. The worst day since June of 2020, and also a fourth straight week of declines for the S&P 500. First time since September of 2020. The NASDAQ also posting a fourth straight week of declines, falling 4.2% on Friday alone. So pretty ugly month. I'll throw some numbers at you real quick here. The Dow, the S&P, their worst monthly performances since March of 2020, the pandemic low. The Dow finished April down 4.9%. The S&P 8.8% to the downside. The NASDAQ led the way, though, 13.25% to the downside in April, its worst month since October of 2008, if you can believe that. Gold prices slipping this morning. We have oil to the downside as well. OPEC coming out with some production numbers for the month, or projection numbers, I should say, for the month. A little bit to the downside. So oil back in negative territory. We have Chinese EV makers on the move, following dismal delivery numbers for them right across the board, coming off lockdowns, COVID-related lockdowns last month in China. We'll talk about those. Going to be an interesting one here. Is the market already looking a little weak once again? It's Monday, May 2nd, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Back in the red. Only just 0.25% for the NASDAQ, 0.04 for the Dow. The S&P just red as well. The big slide in oil right now, 3.6% to the downside. Frank Caberna coming up from the small exchange. He'll give us his take on commodities to start the new week off. You can see Bitcoin and Ethereum trying to hold some levels right now, but teetering as well. More importantly, there it is. He's back. Sean is back. We're all back for the first time in what feels like, I don't know, a month or so. It's been a while, guys.
It's 3 weeks.
Hope you're well.
I have to line myself up here. What did Arun do?
Arun, I don't know, man, but he was definitely off a little bit there.
All right, glad to be back.
It's all good. So we're gonna be careful with this.
Trader TV Live coffee.
One of these days, we're gonna. You know why I keep saying it. It's gonna. You jinx it.
Yeah, no, we're not smashing it that hard.
Arun was taking liberties with this one.
I was watching this and it was like, Arun, honestly, man, like you guys were debating putting it to a
There
bull.
was the day I was like, it's a bull, and Arun's like, no.
And I was like, turn it around, and then
if I think it's a bull, come on, man.
Look, I think today's probably bearish, but I'm just going to put it to a bull because I'm back. So that's it. The Brahma Bull is back. Yeah, it's great to be back, guys. Feeling great. Everything's a jam right now, except for the market, of course. And I want to steal one of your lines. When you came back, you were like, what did you guys do to the market? But I guess we didn't do too much. Shout out to Fahad. Nice to see him again. Valeria, everybody, Brennan. And of course, we talked about your Buffalo Bills taking a punter, so that's nice. That's really interesting. Hopefully they don't punt too much.
Well, hold on a second. His name is Punt God.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's a good one. But yeah, Sticky Note is back in business again. Neil's just had a warning, fire off for Intel, so that'll be on everybody's watch again here today. Well, hopefully we can bring some energy. I feel like I have this normally in my other ear. I'm going to switch this over and get it in the other ear here as we're back in business right now. Ready to rock and roll. The NASDAQ's only down 0.27. Nice little bump up there. I don't know what that was all about, but Apple's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. And we have a lot of ideas ready to fire at you, so let's get this party started.
Busy day here, lots to talk about, guys. Nikola just out with an offering. $200 million convertible senior notes just announced for NKLA. So a bit of a spike to the downside for Nikola. We'll touch on that as well here. Before we do, let's bring in Miss V. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy Monday to you all. I wish you a wonderful, profitable start of a new week. Please like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's jump right into things, guys. Going to be a lot to discuss coming up over the next hour as we get ready for the open, coming off what happened on Friday. If you were with us in the afternoon on Friday, what a sell-off we had. It kind of started off very controlled. It was kind of like just a controlled kind of grind to the downside, and then just accelerated into the close, and it was right across the board. Didn't matter where you were. Financials, energy, tech, everything got hit into the close to end off A pretty dismal month, guys, for the markets of April, that is. Hey, it's May, finally. It's still cold outside, though. I mean, just in general here, thoughts on where we are, because there were some significant levels taken out on Friday.
Yeah, so well, the most significant one of those levels, I think, was Apple through the 200 at 159, and that was like the big one, because I think when that went in the afternoon show, it was like there's one long. The one long is to see if Apple can hold that 159. Of course it did, and you guys all saw that. And then market accelerated once we got through that price. Now, it's not the first time that we've gone below there. What I was saying to Brandon is the last time Apple broke the 200, it then rallied for 2 weeks in a row without a red day. And then last week, when we got the close below the 200 period moving average, it was a couple of days up, rejecting the 50, and right back below. So that's obviously going to be a bit bearish, just to say the least. And as long as we're below that price, Apple's going to find some weakness there. It does have the 55 level, and then obviously, that March low still in play. Some stocks are at their March lows. Apple is within spitting distance of it, but man, that 159, once it was gone, you could see the market was already down on Friday, but you could just see once it broke that level, everything started accelerated, then right into those imbalances. So Apple, 159, 160, that area has got to be resistance until it's retaken, and we'll see if it can hold up at that 54, 55. If it gets to 150, I think at least the first time it gets there, it's certainly going to be a buy. That might happen sometime this week because we have Fed, of course.
Oh, yeah, Fed. But Sir Jerome Powell, I don't think he's knighted or anything like that.
Sir?
Yeah, I did. Because I'm trying to throw some good vibes towards the Fed.
Get him a gift basket. Let's see that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's being sent a lot of baskets right now, but not a basket of tech stocks probably. No, look, I'll go a little positive here. If the market does come down quite a bit, I think Facebook is a name that, is one of the names that's been beat down so much. You're looking at Microsoft, still has that PE in the 20s, right? Facebook down here, forward PE of only 14. So I'm just thinking that they've already had, their clock cleaned. I was lucky enough to buy some before the earnings call. So that was a pretty good one there. We talked about that live on the chat. I hopped on the chat that day of the Facebook and talked about getting some calls here. So that was a good move to the upside. And I just think that Facebook right here is the name that you're going to want to look for if we do pull back. So what I wrote down on the sticky note is just 195, back into this area right here. If it does pull back in, I'm already bidding down there, but I'm bidding 195.50. I don't know if that's going to come through or not today. But, if we do have a dramatic move down, Facebook, just because of where the PE is and because of any bounce back, I think Facebook will be one of the first ones to get going again back up to the upside. And Netflix too, sub 200, I don't think is horrible. Like, there's still PE has to come out, man. Excuse me. Amazon going into that print was 53 or something, price to earnings. So for them to get clocked back down makes a lot of sense to me. I just think you have Facebook and you have Netflix coming back into reasonable prices now. So those are the levels that I look at, 190 or so right there. What's that bottom? 185.50, something like that for Netflix. So those are the two that I'm going to be buying if the market does pull back in and we're able to get a little bit of a bounce back. But I do like the Apple short that Neil was talking about.
I was reading this morning, 49% on the month for Netflix. Unreal move to the downside. Let's talk about the Berkshire annual meeting that happened over the weekend. A lot of headlines coming out of that, obviously. This was just one of them. Raising their stake in Activision Blizzard to 9.5%. Berkshire Hathaway did ahead of this deal, I guess. I mean, they feel like it's going to get done. It was up a lot more than this. We're coming back in a hurry, though, for ATVI on that note, guys.
Uh-oh, you mean to tell me that they're not sustaining the Warren Buffett bump? The interesting thing is he was buying it apparently a while. He started well before that recent bounce that we've had. But this, like Twitter, it's hard to figure out whether this deal is going to get through. Now, I think there's obviously some concern for antitrust, but you wouldn't think it's that great in this particular case. And the spread is gigantic, $95 compared to here. You're talking about a really good over 20% return. I think the issue with this thing is, okay, so you factor in that's a good return, but if it falls through, where is it going to? If Twitter falls through, it's probably going into the 30s. You can, I think, maybe reasonably say that. If Activision falls through, is it going to the 50s or is it worse than that?
Worse.
That's the thing. If you put a support, like Twitter, I'm thinking maybe 33, 35% downside risk. Activision, it could be 50%, and it might be 50%. And you're paying, like, so the spread looks pretty decent. That being said, would it be the first time that Warren Buffett had an inkling about something that was related to the government happening in the future and then did pretty well?
Yeah. No.
So, I mean, you bet against them at your own risk. And it looks really enticing. Just always understand, it's not just about that 20% till the deal closes. The downside isn't just, okay, well, I think X% chance a deal's going to happen. You got to think about where the stock trades if it doesn't happen. And that's the fear with Activision here. It might be wild for a trade, day trading. I'm sure Pratt will have fun with it. But I suppose if it got to 80, I'd fade it. But I don't really see a trade here today. And I'm not sure I would make that same bet. But then, I'm not necessarily an expert on whether they think there'll be antitrust there. I'm just more afraid of where the stock trades if it does fall through.
I mean, yeah. I think it goes worse, obviously, because on Activision when they were bought was right here, 63, 64, and that's before everything got wrecked down to the downside. So we've seen like Zynga be bought out as well. Some of these video game makers. I mean, just like apparently they bought ATVI to get involved, and then we're talking about Microsoft here. Bought Activision to get involved with the metaverse and things like that, right? Call of Duty, things like that, and just to a housing shop there making games, stuff like that, experiences. We've seen what Roblox has done since January. So I just do fear that, hey, man, maybe there is some downside risk here to Activision. I don't care what Warren Buffett's doing, to be quite honest with you. I mean, he's been an amazing call going with Coke. Coke's been ripping up. We know some of the banks have been doing really well. I don't understand really why even Microsoft was buying Activision Blizzard, let alone why Warren Buffett and family there have an interest in this. But hey, they know a hell of a lot more than I do. So for me, Activision's a stay away. But again, somewhere to park your money. If this deal is getting done, I think it was is 85, 86, something like that.
95.
95.
It's huge.
Okay, so yeah, so there's a huge premium still to go up. So if it does get done, you have $20 in free cash just sitting there. But I don't know. I feel like Microsoft should just pull the ripcord on this thing and pay whatever the fine is or the breakup fee is for this. I don't know if it's too late for that, but Activision and no trade for me today, Brendan.
Interesting, though, to see how that plays out going forward. Let's bring in Frank Caberna, Director of Product Content Creative over at the Small Exchange in Chicago. Another week. Frank, good to see you as always. Going to be another interesting week ahead of the Fed coming tomorrow and Wednesday. Obviously, we'll get the interest rate decision on Wednesday. I mean, everyone seems to think it's going to be half a point, but we were just talking before we came on here, wondering out loud, what would happen if it was a surprise either direction? But I mean, we can talk about that after the fact, obviously. Gold is lower this morning. Oil is also lower this morning. We'll get to commodities here in a second, but let's talk U.S. dollar because, we touched on it on Friday. Pretty impressive move over the past couple of weeks. But you are thinking it might be a little overdone at this point.
Yeah, definitely thinking it was it was overdone last week, and now into this week, U.S. dollar is going to open higher again. So I guess my crystal ball is broken a little bit, Brendan, on the timing at least. But if we do throw to the first chart on U.S. dollar, just want to keep in people's mind, if you saw on Friday when I came on, you saw some of these statistics. If you haven't, I want to keep this fresh in your mind because this is an unsustainable run. You can get moves like this, Brendan, in a single stock. Of course you can. A huge run, a market that, doubles, triples in price. US dollar, especially this SFX product that's against, British pound, yen, euro, diversified basket, 18 of the last 21 days higher. At some point, these numbers do start to even out and we'll get some mean reversion. It's not happening today, but you are getting best prices to sell dollar. If you want to take the other angle, you want to get specific with the crosses, Brendan, we can go to the next slide and I'll show you this week. I do have my legend on here letting you know which line is which. You can see that yen is the underperformer here. I tend to go with the weakest currency, the best chance of bouncing back, or at least the best value to get back to that mean reversion that we talk about here. So I don't mind actually selling some puts in this yen, especially if you do have a long stock portfolio. Yen is highly correlated to stock volatility. We've shown this over decades of data. So actually also a little bit of a play for some short stock, long vol in there if you do either sell a put in yen or you can buy the micro yen futures. But either way, just thinking that this US dollar, Brennan, is likely to give up some ground here. But if it doesn't, then this could be just the tip of the iceberg for some commodity action that we've been seeing. And you nailed it. And I actually put these slides together last night right on the open, and metals were a little bit lower, but not as low as they are right now. Actually, gold plumbing those lows as we speak, down almost $50 back to 1850 here. What will happen to gold, the commodities at large? We'll get to crude oil here in a second, but also you're seeing weakness in ags. US dollar and commodities almost always direct inverses, maybe not on a day-to-day basis, Brendan, but in terms of long-term trends, you don't see a strong dollar coinciding with strong prices in commodities for big stretches. I mean, look at this chart here, especially in the
So that was on our end. We'll try and get Frank back on again. But yeah, going to be an interesting week as far as both gold is concerned, oil is concerned, and also the U.S. dollar. That's too bad. I wanted to ask him. He was talking on Friday a little bit about this trade or potential trade, guys, to fade this parabolic move in the U.S. dollar coming back in. I wanted to ask him how much weight he's putting into what is going to happen with the Fed tomorrow, and obviously the decision coming up on Wednesday. Last check, 98%. We're going to get a half-point increase on Wednesday. If and when that does come, and it's anything but that, we could see obviously significant moves.
If it's not, if it's not the half point, it's going to be absolute fireworks. I think everyone understands that. If they go, and I forget the name of the Fed member, so I apologize right away. There was one member like a week or two ago that said there was a chance that we'd see like 75. But if that happens, it would be gangbusters. If the other side happened and it was a quarter, it would be just an absolute boon. I think off of the key levels that the market's at least in terms of most of the tech names, you would see a God mode rally if we got the quarter point. But I think it's so locked into 50. I'm actually surprised it's not up to that 99%. And it's like the man doesn't want Frank to continue talking there. What we silencing Frank? That was kind of crazy. We'll get him back, of course. But look, Wednesday's going to be a monster event. All that being said, I think there's pretty much 0%. I think it's like 99.9% that we get the 50 that they've been telegraphing the entire time. They would not be this crazy. Look what happened last week. They'd be crazy to not deliver what is expected. I don't think anybody would be pleased with that at all, one way or the other. I'd be happy if, in the market, I'd be happy to see a quarter point. But at the end of the day, if they shock the market, that ain't cool. Ms. V? Oh, you have it.
Go to Ms. V. Yeah. I don't have my earpiece.
First super chat of this week from Rolanda Vergara. Thank you so much, Rolanda. Bought 100 shares of RDBX Squeeze and 50 shares of SOUN, new IPO first series competitor. Good luck, everybody. Thank you so much, Rolanda. And guys, indeed, good luck to you today. Have a profitable day, everyone. And don't forget to like this video. Back to you guys.
So
RDBX, by the way, is getting real close to a 75. Almost said 75 break. If that stock goes to 75, probably a lot of happy people in the chat. I want 750 breakout on this. It's got a 10 million share float, and if it can get through 750, I mean, there's room. I'd say like to this $9 area probably makes a lot of sense there. And then there's probably a ton of bag holders in the 10 to 11 range on RDBX. But the story is its float, right? Like you understand what it already did. Last week, it was a monster on Friday, pretty clean break in the afternoon. And I can't think of another stock. I'm sure there was something else that was strong in the last hour of the day, but nothing is actually coming to mind other than RDBX. Everything seemed to be falling at that point. But this is it's one of those squeeze type plays, so be careful. It's got a triple top on it. INVZ, the other small cat that was moving this pre-market, that made a triple top and is starting to reverse. But this one's set up for a 750 break. Yeah, if you're shorting this, do so with care. If it takes out the high, 9 and 10 are the only two levels I'd be trying to short. I mean, 750 is right here, right now, but I'm not sitting in that one pre-market.
Yeah, I wanted to, before we threw over to Valerie there, just on the talk about the Fed rate, Neil was mentioning that it's almost a dead certainty. Yeah, it's 99.8. According to the Fed interest rate tool tracker here from the CME. So that we're going to get that rate hike. So that's what's going to happen there on Wednesday. So yeah, that's come in. I'm still on the ATVI chart, but I did want to address, unfortunately, our Raptors there ran out of some steam on that last game and losing by 30 at home. I'm glad I was at game 3 and not that game there. At least we lost in overtime and didn't get embarrassed like that. But yeah, shout out to Playmaker and everybody. It's now the Heat. So Miami Heat versus Philly. And then yesterday, in kind of a surprise there, the Bucks handled the Celtics pretty easily in Boston. I was a little bit surprised. The Celtics were heavily favored to win that series. So we'll see, though. Without Joel Embiid, though, I think the Heat probably roll. I don't think Kyle Lowry's playing tonight, which is...
I don't think he's either.
Hey, what's up, Maggie? Good to see you. Yeah, so that should be fun. The NBA playoffs. Yesterday, the Golden State Warriors with a 1-point win in Memphis. That was pretty wild as well. So, and all of that, and I almost wore the Maple Leafs jersey because today... Round 1 begins. Who said that? Rob just said Leafs
Round
suck?
1 begins, and our main man, of course, winning the Maurice Richard award there.
Yeah,
so shout out to Austin Matthews.
I
think we can throw back to Brendan because I believe we did get Frank back.
Ooh. We did. Let's take 2 this and bring Frank back in. And hopefully our computer won't crash again. We apologize, Frank. Good to have you back. As you were saying, a little bit of volatility continuing in gold and oil.
No worries whatsoever, man. That's what the viewers want, something they've never seen before, and they love it when stuff crashes, stuff doesn't work correctly. That's what we're looking for here. And stuff that's not working correctly for me, is this US dollar. I don't know how much the audience caught in there, but I've got the shorts in. I talked yen, and that's the weakest piece. Could be also a good long vol play to substitute a little bit of a hedge against your long stocks. But the big question to me, especially as we kick off this week, and I swear I put this stuff together yesterday, and it just so happens that I wake up this morning and gold is even lower, crude oil is even lower. What's going to happen to commodities, Brendan, if this US dollar does stick around to these highs or even move higher here? You don't see long-term trends of dollar highs and commodity highs. And of course, leading into this big dollar move and the big interest rate move of the last couple of months, you saw commodities skyrocketing to the highs here, crude and gold giving you a little taste of what you could see in the long term here today. And I do fear, not necessarily fear, but I do see an opportunity in the potential of, if you've got short USD, shorting commodities as well here, because one of them's got to give.
Frank keeps breaking our computer. No, it's not him at all, guys. We apologize. We'll maybe get a new computer and then try that again. It's fine. Let's move on. Obviously, a little bit of a connection issue there this morning, but I still didn't get to ask him my question, guys. But interesting moves, obviously, in commodities, interesting moves in oil this morning. OPEC, again, cutting their production. So oil to the downside, metals to the downside, all ahead of Wednesday.
I mean, oil it was briefly testing that 100 level. It did bounce back just temporarily here, but obviously you have sort of seen it pulling back pretty nicely, and we're making a bit of a wedge. So you get this tight consolidation, and I really do think, at this particular point, I'm always looking at the equities, which have been relatively weak, at least in terms of this, but you're looking past Wednesday. Ultimately this 100 level, if it does bounce here, I think there's still some upside. And that's just the reality. You have huge demand concerns. I think that's the bigger deal. If it wasn't for this demand pullback and the lockdowns in China with not a lot of cases, then the truth of the matter is we'd probably be testing higher already, because it's something we've pointed out before. Like before you had the war going on in the Ukraine and those types of concerns, there was still a lot of pressure moving to the upside on oil. And that really hasn't settled down. I think that's why it's always found buyers every single time there's been a dip. And you can see that in the trend. It's just happening to consolidate here very, very tightly around this 100 level. So it's more like it might get less volatile going into Wednesday, if anything else. But we watch it, usually have a few oil trades on. Today, I'm not really looking at any of them because there's quite a bit, especially when it comes to some of the Chinese names, which are on our upgrades and downgrades.
Yeah, I wanted to, before we go over to upgrades and downgrades, also bank stocks like JP Morgan here taking down 120 today. That's not going to be a good sign. Settling below 120, now 119 here on the daily chart. That doesn't look great. Morgan Stanley also trying to break through that level that we thought we wouldn't break, $80, $82. You're already below that right now. So on a daily chart, these are all starting to break. WFC, another name. I mean, we can look at Citigroup. We can look at all the banks. They're all the same. I had not stepped into that XLF yet. I'm debating even doing that at this point. But look at WFC even here on a daily. Whoa, hello. Even breaking this daily level here, 45. That's what I mean. We're already below that. So there are some good shorting levels in a lot of these names. Goldman Sachs as well, down looking at $300 today. So oil, financials. We'll talk a lot of tech on the show because that's primarily what I'll be trading. But honestly, man, not good here in the financials either. So oil and financials continue. As long as oil stays above that $95 mark, I think I like it. And I do want to get more exposure to natural gas and the energy sector in general because even if everything in Ukraine, which doesn't look like it's going to get resolved anytime soon, there's still a big backlog in everything to get everything figured out as far as oil supply and shipping and all that kind of stuff and proper pricing to get back online. So let's just see where we go on this. I don't know if it's going to be a warm summer or not, but I feel like a lot of people are going to be traveling around, thus needing more gas, needing more supplies, especially the airlines and everyone that's going to Airbnbs and stuff like that. Also, I like Airbnb stock, but we'll talk about that as we get going. Let's see, is Airbnb over there on the upgrades and downgrades? Let's go find out with Brendan.
It's not. I'll check, actually. Here we go. Some significant ones, though, on here, guys. Obviously, oil top of mind with the move to the downside today. There's Exxon and CVX. So Exxon, XOM, and CVX both on here. Eli Lilly had some news last week back to the downside, you can see. But Mizuho with an upgrade, Southwest on here. There was more developments on that Spirit, possible bid for Spirit. They're lower this morning as well. There's all the Chinese names, or Baidu and Alibaba, two of the big ones. We'll talk about that coming up after the big move on Friday. PayPal and Ford, guys, to the downside as well.
Yeah, one on there flat on the day right now, Eli Lilly. I just saw, but then it's so thinly traded. So keep in mind, like anything it doesn't do volume, it's gonna bounce around there. So down on that board, but very, very slightly to the upside on the last couple of prints here. It was really good the last time it touched the 50 period, but I think if it gets down there again, dollar cost averaging into this bad boy for the rest of the year is gonna probably make a little bit of sense there. So Lilly, I do like them. I didn't, that Spirit, we'll see what happens with that. Of course, there's a lot of risk to get that deal doesn't go through. Anytime airline consolidation, so you understand that can go either way. It just feels like, man, there's just no high-profile deals that have smooth sailing. Just something to watch there. And I'm not, like I said, I don't really have any oil stocks that I absolutely love. But Lilly, man, if that gets back down to 280, it's time to start buying that dip.
Yeah, I mean, I like Eli Lilly. The other name there that I saw on the downside was Ford, obviously, until they get everything figured out with the chips. The F-150, the Lightning, apparently is rocking and rolling. It's just a matter of time before that gets going there. So we'll have to watch out for the Ford F-150 announcement, which I thought we had last week. But this has been pretty sick to the downside. Look at Ford's range here. Just pretty nasty. Bouncing off the 50 period there again, down at 16. And now you're hitting this 14 level, which honestly, you are very, very close to what, I feel like these are load up the boat areas here on Ford. I think Ford is a later half season story here, later half in the season. I got sports on my mind still. By the way, the Blue Jays, wow, taking care of business pretty easily here. But I mean, they're one-run games, but
that doesn't last. By the way,
pitching staff is. Yeah, but our staff is nice.
I know, but regression to the mean
is
a nasty thing.
Whatever. That Romero's getting the saves in there, and it's looking pretty good. And also, like, Bichette's not playing. I know he's hitting well now, but he didn't have a great start. So anyways, we'll talk about the Blue Jays as we go. But what about Ford down here? I think at this 1250 area, starting to become real interesting, man. And I mean, if you like Ford at 12, you can't hate it now at 14. I mean, you're not. I know that's another 10% or so down before we get to those levels. But honestly, Ford right now, I feel like is just a value trap sitting there. And by trap, I mean, I don't think it's a trap at all. Not a huge dividend, nothing like that. Thank you, Mr. Rob, for that, as we'll get the earpieces back in the business here. But GM, another name that's also to the downside. I just prefer Ford just because I really do like that truck story. And I think that as that gets going, that's going to be another thing. So Ford, GM, everything else working here. So I'm going to be looking at a little bit of a long if that comes in. Let's look at the imbalances quickly. I can't believe it's only 9 o'clock here. I thought it was actually a little bit later than that. AT&T, again, we don't have NASDAQ names here. There's Ford on the sell side of this as well. Twitter is another name that we got to look at. I missed all the action last week on that. I know TDOC was flying around. I saw you guys trading that last week. So that's going to be a name to look at here. South of 34 right now. And yeah, wow. Okay, yeah, TelDoc got as high as $36 there on Friday. So that could be a key level. Did you have any guesses what ARC was down last month?
Oh, God, last month, $1 million?
No. It's a big percentage, though.
27%.
Yeah, close enough. 29%.
Oh, that's like you.
That's very close. That's very close. Very great guess. But there you go. I mean, you want to get a beat-up name there. I saw Jim Cramer basically was trash-talking Kevin O'Leary, and I tweeted at Kevin O'Leary. He's like, what's up with that? He called his ARC pick one of, like, the worst picks ever in stock draft history.
So here's the weird thing.
I'm like, you got to, when you're doing those games, you got to pick beat down names.
Well, I had this conversation with my my nephew-in-law, anyways, when he was in high school and he had the stock market competition. I said, look, if the goal is to actually do what you would do investing, or is it just flat out beat everybody else in the competition?
Beat everybody else,
and he's like, beat everyone in the competition. I said, well, okay, well, do your research on some IPOs and some low floats, because you gotta try to swing to win those things. And I think that's baked into what people talk about. Look, it seems like, and I'm just gonna make the call here, we might not be able to get Arun on, I'm assuming, because of obviously the issues that we're having with Zoom and for our guests here. However, he did just get back to me, and he does have his levels that he's watching. So I'm not going to be able to give his, the Arun perfect commentary on these levels, but he is looking currently levels for a long, potential bounce from current levels with a long from 40.95. This is on the ES, right? So that's currently below some of these lows here. So that's support level. So long from here to that 95, and then the resistance area is from 41.75 up until 42.10. So basically, I think that sort of looking at these levels here from the bottoms, I guess, on Thursday. And if we get below that 40, he said this last week, you get below that 40.95, and there's a little bit of trouble there on the ES down to about a 4,000, I would assume. So Arun did come through with his levels in the middle of the day. If you got questions, sometimes he's more than willing to answer those. But he'll be missed just for today. But once we get these sorted out, he will of course be back. And don't hesitate. Throw it in the chat. Say, hey, what's Arun looking at? And usually he'll answer when I message him. Brennan?
Yeah, well, we apologize, guys. We'll get this computer issue sorted out and back to normal for tomorrow, for sure. Let's get into what else you need to know here heading towards the open this morning. Lots to discuss. That's the link to the watch list if you need it, or if you're looking for an absolutely free resource. We send it out every single day before we come on at 8:30, absolutely free. Ms. V will help you out in the chat with that if you do need that link. Let's go to Chinese EV makers out as they typically do, first couple of days of each month with monthly deliveries. I think you kind of have to put a bit of an asterisk beside this because there was all kinds of lockdowns, obviously, throughout China over the past couple of months, I think 6 to 8 weeks even. So not only were deliveries affected, production was affected. We'll talk about Tesla on that front coming up as well. But not good here for some of these. That's my fault. Not good for some of these today, guys.
It was baked in, I think, to at least a certain degree, and no one should be surprised that the numbers were bad. XPeng was the only one year over year that actually still had growth, but realistically, they were still down significantly. NIO's the one I'm watching because the level that it's at, there is nothing between NIO and last week's bottom, which is 15.90, and these the March lows are like $13 on NIO. So we talk about these types of levels here. Look, you either bounce off this with support and you're heading back to like maybe the 17 to 17.25 area, or you break through. And if it holds below 15.90, like there's just $3 worth of room to the downside. So yeah, am I going to go short if it takes out the low? Yes. You never want to get trapped short at the bottom. But that's going to be one where the multi-day gap, and sorry, this is a low. It's from Thursday. But you never want to get trapped on a low like that. So you want to make sure you have yourself an out there. And if it gets back through 1650, then you can't be holding on to it. But it's too significant of a bottom on that daily chart and not to be looking at NEO. We've seen this before. When it's down on news, sometimes it makes a rally. If it doesn't take out the low, and I don't mean this current low. If you don't break Thursday's low on this news, then there's probably an absolute jailbreak of long. Like if it takes out the bottom, this current bottom is 1620, and never gets through 1590, then it is a long through that 1625 area back again. And then you just set your stop at 1590 and say, okay, that's fine. We held on the open. Now it should be all systems go to that upside. But 1590 itself is a short.
Yeah, I was just talking here about some people on the chat. We could do a stock draft, man. I mean, we could get some of our people involved here. We could even get O'Leary, I bet, to do a stock draft with us. So,
yeah, of course.
I think that'd be something that we
Schiff
could.
on there.
We could, we'll get Peter Schiff. He'll just buy gold and that's it, or some, or who knows what he'll buy. He'll probably just say, "I'm buying cash," and stay.
No, we can't let him do that.
Maybe he could stay. If he did a stock draft and stayed in cash, well, I mean, he would take a T-bill, I guess. But you know,
that's what I'm saying.
You could win actually.
You could.
I mean, if we all are minus anything.
You know, oddly enough, that's close to what. Like when I was in first year university, it was in a bearish sort of like a quarter, and I remember that's kind of what we did. We were this ridiculously conservative to get the A, and everyone else was trying to be.
But I guess nowadays you could just go like inverted ETFs and stuff.
Well,
it's
so different. Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's so different now, but. But then if you take cash, you got to use inflation and go against him because you got that to be fair. Okay, so I'm going to give it to 17 on NEO. Look, again, you know, month over month, 50% down on deliveries. Not a great number for them. Brandon talked about some of the headwinds that they're facing. They're obvious. They're going to continue to exist as well. So we'll see. But I mean, you got to be cautious here because some of these names are just so beat down. I mean, this is what it looked like on Friday. Really no love at all day Friday, just straight to the downside. So, I mean, we did bump up a little bit here aftermarket, it looks like, but still, nothing happening all day Friday. Was pretty choppy early, and that's the one thing you're going to have to notice with NEO. It's always choppy early. So I'm going to wait to see. Like, look at this move. Went up to 18 there on Friday before finishing 1650 or 1670. So it does have the opportunity. And Friday, we were down 4.5% on the NASDAQ. So obviously, you did get some good Chinese news on Friday as well, with some of the delisting news coming through. Maybe that's all over with. So there are some tailwinds as well as headwinds. So I would just say be careful with NEO. Obviously, it's down that 2.5%. They miss here. It is on my sticky note, and we are going to look for 16 breaks. I mean, that's what we talked about. But again, I think a warning area is just going to be around 17. So if we rip up into that 17 level, I'm already sitting there waiting to get short. I thought I got short Robinhood, but I was trying to get 79s here on Robinhood, but we didn't get it. We'll get to Robinhood in a minute. That's the name that 78. So I might just punch 77 short. This is the name that I really like short, but I do like NEO. Just has to get to that 17 level there, Brendan.
All right, let's go to Apple, guys. Speaking of some of the names that kind of led that sell-off into the close on Friday, Apple notably weak at the end of the day after showing some relative strength at the beginning of the session back on Friday. We faded off pretty quick. That being said, trying to hold here, guys, at 156, 157 right now. We're back to the bottom end of the range, but these levels need to hold for this market to stay alive, I would say.
Yeah, like that's the thing about Apple is it is that bellwether for the market at this current point. Like it was the reason why, well, okay, it wasn't the reason why we're down. It was the reason why we accelerated to the downside so late in the day. When 159 went and the imbalances came south side, Apple was one of them, you saw it just fail. And that's that 200 period moving average. And this time, it does feel like we're not spending, you know, it's like we spent one morning after a close below the 200 period on Apple the first time. And then the second time, you spent one day, and that was a green day. And then after that, we came just absolutely storming back. And you know, I don't think that's going to be the case. I'd love for it to be true, but going into the Fed, it's hard to imagine there's going to be enough buying to get it back through this 159 area, and that's why I'm going to be playing the fade. Now, look, maybe I actually get a fill really tight to it. I think it's more reasonable we come up to like a 158. But once we're through this area, maybe back above 160, you know, all bets are off. You can't get stubborn with these things here, but I'm going to sell in front of 159 there. If it gets in hold above 160, I think that would be a good area to start thinking about, you know, like just for the short term, some longs. But you cannot ignore how weak this was the second it got below that price. The reversal that we had on Friday was pretty epic. And as long as we are beneath these prices, I think this market is at risk of pulling back in because Apple was doing a lot of heavy lifting. I think that's pretty much done. The only stock left only big stock left with major support that hasn't been broken, that's very, very close, would be soft. That 270 on Softy is pretty big. I mean, if we break through that, that would be a pretty big shoe to drop.
Yeah, let's hope we don't. And I think Softy, actually, I think it does test it at some point there because Microsoft still does have a lot of wind to get out of its sails, unfortunately. And I just feel like there's going to be a capitulation day. It might have happened Friday. I wasn't sitting here. I don't feel like it did, but we could get a monster flush down. So for Apple, I mean, I'm already, like what Neil said there, but I'm already waiting at 157.80, to be honest with you. So if that comes through, you'll see that happen sooner rather than later. But you know what? I'm actually going to share size down a little bit here. No, we'll keep it. I don't know if we want to get filled in the pre-market, that's all, because we still have imbalances coming out. Wow, there's still 20 minutes to go before we open, so anything could happen. But if you're looking at Apple right here, I think it's this kind of a level, 161, 161.50 is kind of where we have to be worried about. We've seen this move downside there on Friday, like we talked about. Decent earnings report, I thought anyways. Got this name up to 169, 170 before just getting hit. Nice move back up there to 166 and then just fell off. So realistically, you got up to 166 here. If you're trying to move Apple around, I think you can wait for 166. What is this market doing right now? I'm actually going to cancel this offer right here because maybe we are starting to go back up to the upside. So I only have one fill on right now, and it's actually going to be Robinhood. So we just got that in right now on this short. So I don't mind taking Robinhood to the short side. We'll probably get to that in a minute on why we like this one short, but not a good report. And then a nice move up on Friday. Let's continue that fade like it did in the afternoon here by shorting Robinhood. But for Apple, look, I like the name. I've always liked to trade Apple, especially to the long side. But honestly, like what Neil said, once we started to go down, we broke through 160. The fall happened into the close there on Friday. We can't forget about that. So let's see if it gets back up. Maybe the best shorting area is around here, 160.50 or so. But still, I do like that 158 level. It's just I don't want to see it here in the pre-market. That's all. So if it does come through, Apple's definitely a name that we're going to have to short here. But the market, we were just minus 0.3%. Now we're up. So now the NASDAQ starting to go to the upside. Wonder if there's just a little bit of love coming in here. We'll see what the imbalances happen. Still 17 minutes away before we open. But hey, the NASDAQ is catching bids here, man. Watch out for some of your shorts. Like I'm sitting on NEO trying to get short as well right now. So that's not coming in yet. We're waiting up here 1670. Did you get hit on anything? I know Intel.
I just got hit on BABA like 2 seconds.
BABA, okay. So
you said it and then I got hit the second you said it.
So, and I am waiting also for an Intel short because Intel near that 43, if we can get anything around this 44, we do like it. But this is not something where I want to be railroaded here off the open. So let's stick with the short thesis and not worry about a little 0.3% bump up here in the futures. But yeah, an aggressive move. I was kind of thinking the other way around here, but we'll hold our Robinhood short. That's actually the one I'm most confident with.
Right, side note on Apple, guys, Roku just saying Apple Music now available on Roku devices. Did absolutely nothing to the stock, but a heads up. Let's go on to chip stocks, another group that were notably weak into the close on Friday. There's individual news on Intel this morning. There's individual news on, what was the other one? QCOM as well, teaming up with Volkswagen. So a couple of side stories, but important day for some of the chip makers as well.
It's an important level for Intel, and let's be honest about it. We talked about this one. Hey, Sean's getting up. I'll probably go to the can in a second. But anyways, Intel, we talked about this on Friday, and you got to go really far back. It doesn't do justice on the daily chart to only look at 2022 for the 43 level on Intel. You got to go all the way back because it was 2022, and I'm repeating myself, man, but 2021 had this as a low. 2020 had 43 as a low. 2019 had 43 as a low. And you could go back even to 2018 and say, 2018 had $43 as the support level for Intel. If you get through that price, I mean, it's going to get, there's zero question. Like I had the trigger, not my trigger, but my alert was set up that if we were going to be below that 44 level when I sat down this morning, that I'd make sure that my stop order went in immediately for 43 if we get that break on Intel. So it's just a monster support level. It's got to be traded. You remember on Friday, Intel was probably the short that we liked the best, just because you were breaking down below that 45 level. And until it gets back above 45, 43 support, great. Until it gets and holds back above 45, it's still a short to me. So I'm shorting either in front of 45 again, which is what we did Friday, or it's a break of 43. So pretty simple what we like for Intel. It's not the only game in town, however. NVIDIA is at monster levels as well. Not as significant on the higher time frame as an Intel, but it's got a nice little double bottom on the daily since the split, and that is 181.50. If NVIDIA can't get through, if it gets through 181.50, it's a similar type of breakdown on your daily chart. So that's one that I plan on having. It's a little different than Intel because it's not like multi-year support levels, but that's one to watch. And if we bounce off of this, it's easier to like along on NVIDIA in front of 181.50 because the overhead resistance is so far away. I think 45 is right there on Intel, whereas I think you have a decent chance to say that until you get to 200, maybe a 195 stands away, but 200 is the big level. If we can bounce off 181.50, that's a good 10% off its last support level, which makes the risk to reward of a long in front of support on NVIDIA much better, I think, than the long in front of 43 on Intel.
Yeah, I was so thinking that this market was going to be red today, and I still think it's going to. Nice move up, though, in the NASDAQ. Makes me little weary about Intel here. I mean, Intel did come out. You saw them get destroyed. I mean, Intel's been holding up, but obviously they're on Friday, not a great day for them, and it was Thursday there with the earnings came out, boom, to the downside. And now I was just thinking about breaking that 43. I mean, Neil just talked about that right there. AMD, again, looks like that wants to take 80 or at least test 80, which is, again, just a real bad omen here. Look what Friday brought to AMD. Again, real tricky off the open, and this is what we don't want to get caught in. We could rally off the open again. I mean, AMD touched 91.50, right? And then settle down at 85. So there's a lot of opportunity here for AMD again. This could be a great bounce spot right now. Like bouncing off 85. Why can't we do that? I mean, if you're going to go long on something, AMD has been pretty strong when it wants to go. It's one of those names that it can change on a dime for you. So it's like on rally days, it's nice. But look at the last 3 weeks. It's like 125 down to 80, almost in a straight line. And I don't think there's anything wrong with their business. It's just the market's getting hit. They're a super high flyer. What goes up must come down type of thing. And I mean, AMD right now trying to test that very low of 82 bucks. So you got to watch out for that. That happened, I guess, on that flush Monday there last week. So watch out for that, 82 and change. But right now you're trying to bounce off 85. So let's see where we go here. But yeah, I like AMD to the long side off of this 85. It's just a matter of you got to get out when it breaks. And honestly, right off the open, you're going to get some mishmash back and forth here. So I feel like it's our best bet is to wait to see what these stocks do. If they want to rip up off the open, so be it. The NASDAQ right now is flat on the day, so we're not trying to make like any revolutionary calls here, but you are down through 13,000, obviously. So you bounced off that 12,750. That could be a level to look at right there on the NASDAQ. Let's see if we retest those lows. If we go anywhere near those lows, then it's going to definitely be a problem for these big time stocks. So we're going to watch out for that. I'm short Robinhood right now, and I like it. A quick little look at the imbalances again. Everything pairing off. I mean, there's not real any size here. AT&T 700,000. That's it, man. I mean, Ford's the other name that we might look at. NEO and Twitter's there. Both are sell sides that we like as well. NEO trying to get up to 17 is where we're going to start to sell that one. K-Web there, the Chinese names moving around as well. So we'll wait to see. But like I said, I feel like this open, there's a lot of settling down that has to happen. You saw Berkshire come out on the weekend with their report, and then a few talking there about Activision, about Bitcoin, even about Apple, Microsoft. There's a lot of names that were mentioned over the weekend, and I don't want to throw everything out with the bathwater here. We actually talked about Facebook longs, and that was the one name that I wanted to get long on, and you can see what Facebook's actually doing right here. you know, when we were talking about it, it was down here to 199. It actually just went to 201.50. So, you know, I think we're going to be right. If there's a long in play, it's going to be Facebook, and we're going to have to look at that. So, yeah, a lot of things popping off now. We only have 10 minutes to go. It should be an exciting open. Let's just see where we go.
Yeah, let's touch on some of these Chinese stocks from Friday. Huge gaps, monster gaps right across the board on that note that regulators might be looking to lessen their grip or stop looking at them as closely as they have been over the past couple of months. That caused this on Alibaba. Pretty impressive move, even with the sell-off we had. I mean, this thing held up quite nicely. We're obviously gapping down below those levels, support levels from Friday, guys, but worth a look on these. I want to make sure we get to, speaking of the Berkshire meeting on the weekend, I want to make sure we get to Robinhood and talk about Charlie Munger here a bit as well and his comeuppance on Hood.
Like, who even said, we're joking around about the comeuppance thing. It's like, my parents don't even say that. Like,
I don't even know what that means.
That would be a line from my grandparents. It's basically like you're getting your due for acting up. Something along those lines.
Yeah, it's like you get what's coming to you.
Yeah, get what's coming to you.
Get what's coming to you.
But it's just one of those,
Karma.
like, who says that? Like, karma. Like, give me a break. It's a company. Like, you can not like it.
Charlie Munger, I don't think he's like 95 years old.
And I don't like Robinhood.
I'm
not saying I don't like Robinhood, but I don't believe in the company either. I think there's a lot of things that have gone wrong for them. But like, comeuppance, like, what did they do wrong? But except for anyways. But like, let's get to Bob in a quick second. Bob, I'm already in, and I'm shorting it the first time in front of 97.50. That's the consolidation from Friday. However, anything below 102. If it breaks out and tries to get above that 102, the 50 period, I like the short there. That was the short that was gold on Friday. And Robinhood, I'll try another shot at that one again. It broke 10 last time, so I'm giving it to 10.25. That's why I'm not short yet. Or it's a 970 break. But is that true?
I have 10.50 written.
I didn't know he was.
Look, come to my screen here, Fahad. I already saw Fahad laughing. 98 years old. Like, congratulations, man. 98, honestly, like, holy crap. Like, if I can live anywhere close to that, I mean, that would be absolutely fan. I mean, that's already outpacing, what is it, 77 or 78 or so?
Is that what it still is?
The average male. I don't know what it is in the United States, but 98 years old. Look, I would love to take investment advice from these kind of dudes, but yeah, let's just keep this all. It's amazing that he still has his wits about him, but 98 years old, Charlie Munger there. Okay, so yeah, look, Robinhood, great levels there. Neil talked about 10.20 or so. I think that makes sense. Upside here. I want to be wrong if we break this 10.60 level, so that's really what we were looking at. I was talking about putting on some big boy pants here, you know, if we get into between the 10 to 10.50 level. So pick your poison anywhere there. Neil mentioned 10.20, so that's good enough as anything. If you can get into that level there, I think that's a good short. We're waiting to get shorter and shorter and shorter here. So what's up to Charlie Munger? Congratulations on your age, man, and your well use of the English language. I can't even do it properly there myself. But Brendan, 98 years old, not too bad.
Impressive. Not an impressive, remember, earnings report Thursday night for Hood, and then we saw it go straight up. So worth a look, definitely, today. Here's INVZ, some LiDAR news, or LiDAR-related news for this one today. Already broke 480, already broke to the downside. 520 was tested twice. Above 520, it has room, a lot of room, in fact, all the way 556 maybe, but this already broke to the downside, so we'll see if we can't get back into these areas from Friday, guys, for INVZ.
Yeah, I actually like that one back to $5 in particular there, so I'm definitely going to be watching that. There's a lot on the move here, and we talked about RDBX had made a move, and it didn't get to the watch list. It tried to get through 750, double top. So just like INVZ, it ended up failing to make that breakout. Now you're starting to roll back into the downside. If it can't hold 680, and there's room if it breaks 750, there's room to $9. Possibly 10 if it got any further. If it can't hold this at the open at 7, you're looking between, I'd say, 6 and 625. So, you know, some of that aftermarket love and the breakout price, probably your best bet for any kind of a dip. If it makes, now that it's had a bit of a capitulation here, if it makes one test at 750 at the open, I'd look to try and fade off of that one, off that 750, but you gotta have a stop. I'd be willing to make top wick at 750. I wouldn't hold any short through that price. You gotta watch out for that. It's a 10 million float. I think that's the big thing. So be very, very careful if it does break 750. It's definitely a halt candidate as well.
Yeah, what's up, Dominic? Thanks for the super chat on some of those. Robinhood coming to the downside right now. We will go over to Brendan with only 5 minutes left. What's up, Brendo?
Just quickly, guys, Blue Apron just popping up here. APRN on a big move through up 40% on a $70.5 million planned capital raise. $12, it looks like $12 per share, 40 million at $12 per share. So a big move there for APRN.
Yeah, I believe that was actually Kevin O'Leary, one of Kevin O'Leary's picks a couple years ago, Blue Apron. There, I don't think that went so well. But okay, Blue Apron, another name to look at. I was just looking, Robinhood starting to fall back in a little bit here. We only have 10 seconds until the NASDAQ imbalances, I believe, they're 25. So they used to be 28. So we'll see when that comes out in a minute there to see what's going on. But we can watch Apple and things like that. Here we go. They should come out. Apple down to 157. Oh, I did want to say that I am now on the bid here for Facebook around this 199.50 area. There we go. The imbalances did come out, so we'll look at those in a second. Facebook down here to 199.50. We'll test that long into 199. We break 199, we're gone, and probably looking to reverse short into that play. So let's be careful with everything. We know how violent Facebook can be, especially moving into the dollar areas here. Where is the bear versus bull? You asked, Dominic? I mean, it's right here, bud. It's right beside us here on the double shot. There it is, right here. So here's the bear versus the bull. We got the watch on. We got the bear versus the bull going on. I turn it into a bull just because that's what we're going to do today. And if it turns bearish, this market, then we will flip that over one more time. But Facebook into there. Okay, let's just quickly look here at the imbalance locator. NASDAQ, SNDL. I mean, again, nothing. Well, Apple is there for 134, but yeah, I mean, it's already done 2 million shares, so no real surprises there. And I don't really see anything. I'm not going to search for different names for you guys. There's really nothing on here. I don't even see Palantir on here. Small little bid for Ford, offer for Ford as that took down 14 and now came back up through it. I'm going to say Neil's SNDL, even though it's not really. It's just a cannabis name sub $1 there that you'll trade more than I do. So SNDL is on there. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to.
Twitter.
There was a name I wanted to remember to get to, and that was it's not on our watch list and it's not doing a ton of volume, but Block has a big level from last week, 97.35. If you look on the daily chart, it gets through this, and obviously this was a good floor all week long. So if Square gets through that bottom, I'm looking for a short on that. I actually have an order to go short on Facebook if it does take out that low. I think it's a good support level for a breakdown style trade. And then we mentioned NEO, but we didn't really go over XPeng. Certainly, they were the only one that was, I guess, still up year over year in terms of their delivery numbers. Come on, chart. The reason, I like NEO a heck of a lot better, at least in terms of the level that it has to be able to break down. If 24 were to go on XPeng, it has a ton of room to a 2250 level. The difference is NEO's is at the multi-day support level. Like that level on XPeng, if it were to break down and hold 2250, this is a big level, and it has to drop. It'll already have dropped $1.50 to get into that price. So there's a decent chance at a potential bounce. It's much different from where NEO is. NEO's at the bottom. XPeng is essentially testing that low, and we should never, ever, ever ignore Tesla. I learned that lesson. You guys saw that last week. Never ignore Tesla, because sometimes you miss out on the greatest trade of all time. And that was that short the other day off the open. Let's go to the 15 very quickly here. If Tesla does make any kind of a bounce, it's still 900 to 910 where there's so much selling involved. It did break 860 already, so you have to wipe that one out there. So I think the level to watch on the open is going to be 880. If it does make a jailbreak to 880, that will be the first line of resistance. 880 to 885 has been pretty key on Tesla, but today is more of a NEO style day because of their delivery numbers.
What was the greatest short of all time? The 1,000 break or the 1050?
So the way that stock fell on, off of that 900 level on Thursday, it was unreal. It was just, you could take the break. 850 was just like punching 850.
Right, and it was gone. That's
it. Just
it.
instantly.
Oh, but that's because Elon was selling that 4 to 8 billion.
Exactly.
Yeah, some said 4
it was
billion,
program selling. It was the 8 billion.
Oh, I might get hit. I put a bid that day. I was watching the show, and I put a bid that day at 8:30, and it got missed. It literally. Just because it was a random price.
Oh, it ran. Yeah,
I know. I think it hit it, and then I was using it as that bottom. So maybe we get that today. I mean, we'll see. What's Tesla printing right now? 860.
Well, if we get that today,
we could get $30 down.
Yeah, we could
easily. I think
we got trouble.
Okay, with only a minute to go, just refreshing my NIO thoughts here. 1750 is where I'm going to give this to the upside. So if we break up back up above 1750, we could get there. We're shorting into 1750. We're gone if it breaks it. We have Facebook on our mind. mind as well with only a minute left, under a minute left here. Any kind of love back down into 199.50. We're going to take that. We have Robinhood on our minds, and then we have INTC as well. This is getting close to coming in here. So I am going to take the short ahead of 44, and then I'm just going to manage it. I'm not planning on putting on a big position with Intel, but Facebook and Robinhood will be one to the long and one to the short with only 20 seconds left. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the love on the chat. It's great to be back with everybody. We were saying it's been 3 weeks because
it has.
Brendan, then you, then me, then we're back. So right now with only 13 seconds to go, man, I believe it's Ms. V over there. What's up, Ms. V? Getting ready to rock and roll here with only Ms. V.
4, 3, 2, and ring it, Ms. V.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Actually, I just got some more BABA right before the open in front of that 97 level, almost immediately trying to check back in here. So we got the BABA short. Robinhood just came in for me because I wanted a 970 break. They're both full. Oh my goodness, I got to take some of this out. Already like $1.20 in the money on. There we go. Let's lock it in right away and
There we go.
Yeah. For the shorts.
Yeah, I mean, Robinhood right now is like on
working?
fire to the downside, man. 51s I'm bidding right now. We are short at 78 here. A good little start to our day so far. We did get that Intel short. We said we'd want this name, and then we're going to try to manage this one to the upside. So we are now short.
Chips are strong.
Yeah, Intel's just flattening out here. We'll see. But again, looking at Intel, it's this 44.50 area that we're most concerned with. So if that takes that out, then we will re-look at that. But right now, 44.60 and Intel working out for us. Robinhood did go down to the 50s. We were waiting at 51 and only touched 52. So maybe we'll get a quick out here on Robinhood. The market really strong now as the NASDAQ up 0.2. We miss our Facebook long.
Oh, here comes that RDBX. It looks like it just made an attempt at that 750. So the first move in RDB. Oh, come on, give me a break. How far might you have to chase this? Not too far. Don't chase too far. Give me a break. I was just telling myself, don't chase too far. Just tried to break 750. It just put in one of those like wick off tops where we went to 756 and then came right back in. I went to 707. I didn't want to really chase too far away from that $7 level. But now if it takes out the high, it's a jailbreak. If we get through the high at this point, the stock is probably going to go. But the first look was a failure off of that 750 level. Probably had one time in the 30s and then 750. All bets are off for any kind of a short there. Neil's trying to make a run. Back up to 1650, and the chips have shown strength. NVIDIA got up to, NVIDIA went green there. NVIDIA actually went green on the session, getting through to this 186 area, but starting to come back in. BABA's just screaming to the downside. That's now at 95.5. BABA breaks 95. And it gets pretty ugly pretty quick here. If we get through this, like look at the gap fill on Alibaba if we get through 95. Oh goodness. Good luck if you step in front of that grenade. If this breaks 95, could be real ugly.
It's been a while. Bang right now, because here goes Intel to the downside. Nice 15 cents on that one. Nice 20 cents right now on Robinhood as we're going to go 2 for 2 right now. Robinhood to the downside here. Nice little win for that name. We'll see, though. I mean, it's still really early. And then Intel, I mean, good trading, man. It went up to 44. We wanted to wait to see if this market wanted to do a dance. If it does, great. I just want to give you guys another idea here. Apple, we are getting ready to short this thing on a 157 break, but right now it is upside in Apple as the market's trying to hold out here and not make that move back down below that 50 period. So right now, Apple heading higher, man. I don't even have a short ready to go for Apple yet. What did I write down? I got 158. We're right here to 158 on Apple, but the market is Rip City right now. So hey, maybe we'll start a short here in Apple, but I don't want to be wrong. Oh, there's that 158. Okay, let's put on a little bit of short on Apple. You can see Facebook is the name with more strength right now, and we called that one coming through. Apple, look at that. Right now, Facebook up that 1.4%. We wanted those 199.50s, didn't come in, and look at that, man, 203.50 right now. Apple, Rip City, and so does Intel, man. We get some outs there, 75s, and then Intel right back to the upside. So yeah, let's start to navigate this market a little bit. What's up, Brandon?
Big mover last week, guys. VERU just popping up on the volume scanner. You can see to the downside, huge sell volume just came in there for VERU. There's also NIO showing all kinds of strength out of the gate. A little bit of rejection there at 1680 for NIO.
Yeah, it just rejected the highs
my
there.
God.
The pre-market high got to 1675 or so, maybe 1680, and then checked back in. It never took out that 1590. So if the low holds, as long as we hold that low, it's got to be a bit of a bounce play. But we've already made the move. I wanted a failed breakdown. That never even happened. Bob is starting to come back in, but here comes RDBX. Now we've already seen the test one time in this name, and it tested the high of the day, put in that sort of failed break at the open, and came back in. So if it gets through the high this time, we're talking about a reversal. This is definitely one that I would reverse into the long side. But first things first, it would actually have to take out that top. BOBA just came back all the way to 97. So as quickly as that was down here 95.5, we're right back near that high of the day, guys. There goes RDBX, so I'm now reversed into the long. That jailbreak looks like it is going to be on. And look at that snap down. Like, these names snap to the downside and are now trying to retest the highs. I'll get back in one more time at this top on Alibaba, but if it takes out that 97.25, we're giving that one up until 102, which is the key level that we like.
Oh, shit. Yeah, because this market is back, baby, and we're back, hopefully with a vengeance here. Look at that Apple short, 157.80. We shorted Apple, guys. And we took the break down of 157. So right now, yes, we are rocking and rolling here. Apple to the downside. We're making bank right now, guys. Big time movements. Look at NEO to the downside. Look at Intel to the downside. Man, it's glad to be back. And we are banging it out right now for you guys. NEO, I don't know, man. This is the name that could be the one that we step up on here and have to get out. Sorry, like we stepped up. There's no doubt about that. We're short at 80 right now off that play that we wanted in the pre-market. But look at Apple right now. See you later, alligator. I'm going to cancel that Facebook buy right now because we're short Apple right now, and that is Tank City to the downside right now. We are trying to play this name the best we can. As there's Apple short again. We wanted that short off 158. It's now $1.50 in the money. This is how we're doing it. We took that short, and here it is. Dump City right now on some of these names. Intel still 11 cents in the money. Robinhood dancing a little bit. NEO is the name that I got to get out of, as that is making a move to the downside here.
NEO just made to me a failed break. That was, I mean, I either like to break down to 59, which has not happened. But remember, you get a wick top, which is exactly what NEO just gave you. I got to do that on black chart. Sorry, guys. Here's that wick top. The second I see one of those, that's the entry point there. So try to wait for it on the curl. I added to Alibaba there, and it starts to fall as well. Brendo?
SOUN, guys, big mover, de-SPAC'd on Thursday last week. Former SPAC, back to the downside here, just halted 2 times in a row. This is 12. We're at $10 now for SOUN.
SOUN, shout out to Dominic. Yes, sir. Bang is in the building right now.
Oh my God.
Okay, that one's halted now. As NEO coming back onto the downside as well, man. We are out of half of our NEO trade as this is bouncing around 50. Short. Look at these names here, guys. Short Apple 158. It's at 156.50. Short Robinhood right now at $10. It's at 960. Well, not $10. Sorry, 980. Intel right now 21 cents in the money, and that's making new lows. But the Nasdaq right here is testing those day lows. We called it that could happen. Here it comes right back in. If we don't hold that, man, we're on one again today, but honestly, man, this market, I don't know. Like, I want to drop some of these trades. I just said to Neil, like, this is where I got to start getting out. Like, I'm instantly in the money a shit ton right now. And it's just coming back in. So, hey, let's just keep showing this. Apple showing strength. No, Ricky Camp. It is not.
The market's at the low of the day.
Showing strength right now. The market's at the low of the day. But I feel like we could rip some out here. There goes NEO down to 50 again, and Apple just peeling off the Band-Aid right now down to 146.40.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the Nasdaq down here, and you're testing this double bottom. Like, that's a whole. If the shorts work from here that you like for the setups, I mean, it's just going to be absolute gangbusters. Almost everything I see put wick tops on and then rejected. Nvidia put a wick top through the top, and NEO put a wick top on to the upside. It's just almost everything I look at. Even like that small cap RDBX put in a wick top. This SOUN with the halt, it is currently indicating 975. Reopen price. It's looking like it's going to reopen just slightly lower than where it is right now, that 991. Below 10 on any SPAC or de-SPAC is obviously key level. Brendo?
Wow, tons of volume to the downside once again here, guys. Spirit Airlines, JetBlue updating their bid for Spirit, which they called uninspired or something along those lines. Not good anyway. So day lows coming here, guys, for Save as well.
Okay. Yeah, and there's that level on Square. Square just came in, yuck. If Square's down at 97, yeah, look at that level on the daily chart. And of course, my 15 not loading. That level on the daily chart just gone, 97.50. So I'm into the short on Square. This is one, if it's below 100, we're holding on to this pretty much all day.
Ooh wee, what's up with that? What's up with that? Right now, we're going down to the downside right here. Apple 156. If you're gonna, hey guys, welcome back to the show for everybody that's back this week. I'm back. The whole crew is back right now. We are rocking and rolling. And look what else is back. It's the sticky note is back in the building, baby. Apple, look at that. Try the 158 short, right? There it is right there, coming through. And we also have Intel written on there. We have Robinhood written on there. Adios, Apple. We are cruising. Today as the bubble's popping. If it hasn't popped already, man, shout out to Charlie Munger, 98 years old. Still very impressed with that. Look at NEO down through 1650 right now. We're already short here, 50 cents in the money on this trade, so that's going to be a good one. I'm just kind of like what Neil was saying there. Yeah, this market is just downside, so we'll continue to watch some of this.
Oh my God.
I mean, I feel like we could take out some more Apple right here for $1 plus. There it is. We just took out an 86 on Apple. We still have 40% or so of this trade, so that's going to be a good one. Robinhood is hanging out upside, though. So this is a name that maybe we'll get out. Robinhood just popped up, but we just cleaned out some of that Robinhood. We're still into 60% of this one. This is the biggest trouble piece for me right now. Hood on watch.
And look out for NVIDIA. By the way, the RDBX just retook 7, so it looks like that one is going to maybe give up the ghost as it tries to shred that breakout that it tried to put in at 750. Look at NVIDIA, 187.70 here. Triple top on NVIDIA. Looks like it could get real spicy if it were to get through this. However, that is now 3 attempts at that particular price and failing every single time. Like I said, Redbox turning right back around and absolutely failing here. But NVIDIA looking pretty strong. It's up 1%, but look at that triple high. If it gets through this, then you've got a long which has a chance to be a big time break.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I mean, I like
Redbox halted downside now.
RDBX. Okay, so there it is right there. We've talked about that over and over again. $500 on the offer. Look, right now it's tapping 618 right there. A nice move to the downside right now for RDBX. But honestly, guys, like this is getting elevated right now. Apple downside. $1.80 now in the money. Off the sticky note level of 158. It's 155 right now as Apple. I'm just going to put a bid out and see if I can get hit here as that was a big move to the downside. Should not have ignored that. We did get out of some Robinhood there as it took out some of our levels, so we're only into 30% of that one. Obviously, it's a winning trade as we get out some for flat, or actually, I guess we were short 78 and that was an 81. So basically flat. We've taken profit on Robinhood, but that's the only name that's kind of reversing course here. We did notice some NEO strength down here around 1650. So again, just kind of trying to get out of some of these positions now as we've had a big morning and we don't want to let this happen again where the market refreshes itself and starts to head to the upside. But right now, I'm pretty confident with some of these trades. Brendo.
ON Semiconductor, I believe, is reporting tonight. Was just going to double check. Yeah, they are. So earnings tonight for this one. Just trying to find some relative strength here, guys. ON Semiconductor up 4.25%.
Oh, there was a break on NVIDIA. I didn't get triggered on NVIDIA there.
Down?
No, NVIDIA.
Yeah.
NVIDIA just broke that triple top, and
Right.
I did not get the fill on 1870. I'm just going to jump in at 188 there. Looks like NVIDIA is the one that's jailbreaking. It's definitely the strongest name here. Everything else, I'm just going to sit around, and we have the levels that we like here on just about everything else, and except for Square. Square got through that 100 level, so it looks like that one will have to come out. We have a bit of a jailbreak off the bottom, but it hasn't invalidated the shorts because we're still red on the day and we're below that 13,000 on the NASDAQ. So stick to your levels. The long I like is going to be trying to get into this NVIDIA. The tap on RDBX is flat. So it looks like it's going to open up. And I generally ignore where these things are opening up now because it hasn't mattered in a long time. I think usually you want to try to hold through. So we got out of the long. We jumped into the short when it took out support. If it opens flat, I want to hold the short into this move as opposed to just sort of get out on that opening print.
Okay, I'm going to reload the Apple short here as it's just taking off here as the NASDAQ. Again, I don't know if there's any news on anything there, but the NASDAQ just literally went from the bottom of the day to the top of the day in 3 minutes. So NASDAQ, big move to the upside. We'll take that opportunity to reload this Apple trade, which again could turn sour on us if this market keeps going. So we're very, very close to some key levels here for Apple. So let's wait. I mean, if we can retest that 158, we can try the short one more time. But right now, we'll hold on to this one and see where it goes. You have to be willing to put out with some of this volatility here in the market. We are due for a booming day one way here or the other. And I would think that the big time day might be to the upside because we already experienced that 4% move to the downside there on Friday. But right now, Apple, yeah, wow, right back again. I think this is, I mean, unless there's I mean, I know it's just the market taking off here, and I know Apple will go with that, but we're going to try to we are averaging into this short right now against that 158. It looks like it's going to be wrong, though. Apple right now, giving back some of the money that we made on this, holding into the short, though. Hopefully.
Here comes Tesla, 880 to 885 right now.
Okay, so Tesla's making the move back upside as well. So we'll go to Brennan quickly, and then we'll go back to Neil with Tesla.
Looks like just volatility, guys. VIX just hit 35, so that's high. ATVI up 3% here. Big volume spike back higher for that as well.
So we're mentioning Tesla just a quick second ago. It just got back to this 880 level very, very briefly. This is my 15-minute, by the way. It just got back to this level very briefly. It looks like it's trying to make the break, but the futures are also at that high currently. So this is one of those, if we get through 85, Tesla has a chance to jailbreak from here. There's room to $910 on Tesla. Give me a break in video. Like I missed the 88, it's at 90 already. If Tesla gets through 85, room to 910, but 910 had a ton of selling on the way back down. Forget about that 930 high, 910, a monstrous level for Tesla. On Robinhood, checking out that $9 level, it could get to that 925. I just looked over, and I don't understand why we're not open. Seconds till RDBX. If RDBX doesn't open in a quick second, then it's probably a 10-minute halt. But Tesla now putting on the reversal off of 880. Let's see if we can't jump into this one.
All right. I've been run over before, obviously, with NIO, and we don't plan on having it happen again here, but we did just take another short into NEO here at that 1710 on a nice move to the upside there on NEO. Did I get filled? Yeah, I got filled, but not as many shares as I wanted to. Okay. But we are sitting here again at 09 or so if it does come back up. We did get filled a few shares there, and we got some out at flat, but we are expecting this to come back in. Here comes Apple screaming back in now to the downside. Let's put some bids out here, as this was a good average in for us. Now Apple's not screaming, but coming back down now. We are short off the, okay. Here with Apple as it's starting to make moves downside. Ooh,
there
wow.
Goes Tesla.
That was a good one too, and there goes Tesla. But again, right when we're trying to talk about Tesla, Brendan, what you got?
U.S. manufacturing PMI data for April, guys, just at 59.2 versus 59.7, so lower than expected. Hence the move back down for the market here.
Yeah, so RDBX opens up here, and of course, I'm holding through to that 7. Like just when it halts to the downside, at that point, I'm not looking for longs. Let's see if it tries to fail. 6 to 620 was what we thought support would be, so I kind of feel like it'd be ridiculous to not at least hold some for that. But if we get below 650, I will pop a bid down there. It looks like NVIDIA just turned. NVIDIA's the only one I really want to buy a dip on. If it gets back to 888 on NVIDIA, then that's one we want to take into the long side. It did hold key support. Down around that 82, 180, 150 is a monster, and then it broke out from that. We talked about that 187 level, so NVIDIA looking really, really strong here. I think it's worth that dip buy. RDBX, we'll see what happens with it, but it looks pretty ridiculous. BABA did try to get through, come on, give me a break, it's New York. BABA did try to get through that high of the day, and then nowhere close to that 100 level. So for now, BABA's still looking pretty valid for that short side of the trade. I'm holding on to a third. I'm not going to add back into it unless we start really rolling over here. It's worth noting we did go green. I'm going to pull the futures up here. We did go green on the session, but we have not taken out those highs. If futures get through these 13,000, I'm talking about the NASDAQ, that's when you've really got a jailbreak on. So I don't know that it's really validating the long play unless you get through that. I did mention Tesla, but I wanted to cover some of those others' names first. Tesla did make the curl off of 880 there. We were able to get 878.50, so about 879. Looks like it's heading back down to that 860 level. If I can get some out for about 15 at about 863, that is the target on this Tesla trade. It's still a bullish looking chart for Tesla. It did try to make that breakout, and 850 to 860 was pretty key last week. But for now, the futures are still in a bit of a range, so don't want to jump out of the range here. Don't want to get out of anything that hasn't violated your stop levels. So you can trade, take some profit where it does lie. I'm looking for another opportunity to dip buy, and I'm kind of thinking Pinduoduo, which was relatively strong compared to Alibaba last week. That 45 level coming back into play again. It tried to break here last time on Friday and had a hard rejection. We're right back above 43 support. I like this over BABA for any kind of a long trade. So it'll be 43 long on Pinduoduo if I can get it, and a 45 break would be nuts if that tries to come here in Pinduoduo.
All right, now the market's starting to break back upside right now as the NASDAQ taking it out. So some good looks there. We did up our Robinhood trade, but again, like if this market wants to go up, there is money on the sidelines that will buy everything. So just be very, very careful about that. We've seen some of these beatdown names like a SoFi, like a Robinhood and all that start to do some dances here. So watch out. Okay, Apple right now as well, starting to make moves back upside. So we'll watch out for Apple. We have reloaded all of these positions. So like right now, I'm putting some more shares on the bid here to try to get some out if we do fall back down. We are still trying to respect that 158 area. So if we're going to do that, and here it comes back down again. So it's a good little reload, it looks like. But that 158.25 or so there for Apple. The problem is, and this is what I was thinking about when I was away, was just like, you know, sometimes these moves happen and you got to really take advantage of them. And I understand that, you know, we do want to wait for some big time moves to come through, but I'm just scalping Apple here off of these highs. And I really think that right now, like based on what I'm seeing, that makes a lot of sense to do that. And I mean, the same thing here is true of NIO. We just got that 1720. But look, if we didn't scalp this, like we would be in a world of hurt right now because it's just gone straight to the upside. So me getting some out here like the scalper's paradise that I try to trade with, you know, has allowed me to get back and forth here on some of these names. Let's hope for it. Here it is. Yes, sir. Good little call there, Neil. Tesla.
That was Tesla hitting 60 right there. So we'll do, I'm on the wrong page, man.
We are now into a reload on Apple too, guys.
That's
Big
the
time.
worst key ever.
Boom. Yeah, boom or bangs, whatever. Let's go.
Yeah, and I wanted a long in Pinduo Duo. I obviously haven't gotten it, but NVIDIA is going to make that first look pulling back in here to that 188. Remember, the breakout was here at 187. That's kind of an ominous number. Anyways, the stop's going to go at 187 for what it's worth on NVIDIA. It looks so relatively strong here that if I'm going to try to buy a dip, I want it to be either there or I want it to be like we talked about in Pinduo Duo. BABA is looking like it's going to break out. And we'll have to give up the last of it here. Yeah, it's trying to get through this 98.50. Going to have to give up on Alibaba to the short, but I'm not going long BABA because 102. BABA at 100 and 102 is a lot of overhead resistance. I just feel like Pinduo Duo is a better shot if I can get it to the long side. But if we cannot hold that break, we already stopped out of Summit after taking that short down to 95, and looks like it wants to jailbreak for the rest. So we'll have to give up the ghost on BABA, but I'm not looking to reverse long here. It'd be Pinduo Duo I try to get that long.
Look how we got, okay, I guess we should get some more out of Apple here, as Apple, like on these reloads, man, is well in the money now. I was waiting in the 30s to see if we got something down there as well. But look at the spidey senses working a little bit here on Intel. We got out right here as it ripped right back up to those levels, but now Intel with the market falling back, that's come back in as well. But we cannot ignore, or I will be gone out of the seat in 5 seconds if I continue to ignore her. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, our DBX is holded, and I remind you to smash the like button. Guys, can you imagine almost 10 a.m. and we still are not at 1K likes? So please take a pause for 1 second, support your community, and back to traders.
Yeah, let's go with that for sure. Oh my goodness, NVIDIA. Square is gone. We'll do one of these ones for Square because it was just absolute garbage. But that was one we looked at all last week. I'm going to take that break every chance we get on a multi-level. But it got through that 102, and once that's gone, forget about it. BABA, like we said, it got through that high. Looks like we're going to have. I'll get to NVIDIA in a second for targets, but when it runs in the money, you just kind of want to hold on. Pinduo Duo was screaming towards this 45. There's not going to be a dip buy, obviously, at this particular point. So I'll go ahead and cancel that 45, a monster level for PDD. If we can get through that, we could have a jailbreak in our hands. Remember, the NASDAQ has still not claimed that high of the day. So we're still inside of the range in the overall market, Brendan.
One that got absolutely demolished on earnings back on Friday, ACCD, Accolade, trying to get back to the upside here, 15%. Watch out for 630, 650 area, guys. But huge buy volume coming into this ACCD.
All right.
ACDC? No, I just...
ACDC, yeah, Thunderstruck. Okay, so... Yeah, just like we were talking about trying to get out of the way here on some of these plays, we got to get out of the way on some of these plays. Robinhood right now, I'm bidding 99s. Hopefully, I'm trying to get paid for all these trades, so I'm on a paid gateway here. Hopefully, it can come back in and we'll take that out. But right now, Robinhood, like I said, starting to take that $10 level here. We wrote down 10.50 that we wanted to give it to, but again, we're doing well today, and there's really like no point in trying to give some of this back. Where's my minute chart here on Robinhood? There's the 20, here's the minute. So A nice move back upside there. We did take that 990 short. We were able to get something out in the 80s, but now it's starting to rip upside. Let's take advantage of this move back in right now to get something out on this name. So Robinhood right now, we'll take a little bit out on the move back. Just stopped on the move back in. We don't need to be holding trades that we don't really believe in right now. The market is a wild one. We've been absolutely destroying Apple today, so I think that's going to be something that we'll continue to look at. There's a 31 bid that we just got. We are coming back up, though, for Apple, so let's put another bid out here in the 80s. If we can get it, there it is. We get that again. But yeah, we're just going to keep watching some of these shorts. NEO as well, short at 20 here, starting to go back upside. So we got to be careful with a lot of these trades on board right now. What's up, Brenda?
Another recent high flyer, guys. ATER trying to join the party here. Lots of volume coming in through that high from Friday, and then back to 550 for ATER.
Yeah, see, John, I will stop that at BABA too, but remember that 102 level from Friday on BABA, like you can't hold necessarily into that one. I don't think it makes any sense. You have a secondary level there. If you have one level to play off of, you take the short, you put your stop, but that gave you two. So I want to make sure that I'm out and then looking for a test off of that 102. Intel it didn't quite get up to this 45 level. For me, it was, two shots. It was either in front of 45 or if 43 breaks, and neither thing has happened just yet. But we did just reverse off 44. NVIDIA at the same moment, we did get that long dip at 188, but if you looked at what resistance was in the afternoon on Friday, right up here at 190, so we managed to take some out, $1.50, just to make sure we lock in profits. If NVIDIA gets through this 190, we did talk about how much room NVIDIA had this morning. It was just a better long dip, I think, than AMD or Intel because of how much room it has. It's got room to 200. If this market gets through 13, NVIDIA has room to go to $200 today. So if it's one of those days, you want to make sure you're holding on for dear life and just riding that trend. Tesla all the way back. It's all the way up. It just went from remember that 880 to 885 level, back down to 860, right back up to that 885. That's a short that I am not reloading, because if the futures take out this high, forget about it. Brendo?
Let's reopen again, guys, through 8. QCOM, I mentioned in the pre-market individual news on QCOM, a development deal with Volkswagen on some self-driving technology. So Qualcomm having a nice day, guys, up 2.5.
What's that other one? It was
what were you thinking about? Well, Intel's, the chip sector, there's a few that are moving around. Okay, so Qualcomm, I like that name, Qualcomm. You know what name I really like? First of all, I don't like Neo, but we just give back what we made, but still a pretty flat stock for me today. What about Facebook? Ooh, Facebook, there it is, NQ. Wow, 209. We talked about that, trying to get that long at the beginning of the day there, and now Facebook is just ripping upside here. My charts are going to take a minute to load on Facebook, but 208, 209 right now coming in for Facebook. We'll switch over to Apple right now, and unfortunately, I guess they haven't fixed any of the chart problems because I'm on Apple and I still have this Facebook.nz. But right now, I love that I love that Facebook long. And again, if we're going to talk about stuff, this is why I try to do as much work as I can for you guys on the sticky note, because right into here, man, if we are looking for some longs, we liked Facebook. We talked about that. Facebook is rocking right now, taking down 210. It's straight up to $10 there for Facebook, so that's a good one. We got out of the way on Intel as that's dancing a little bit right now, and Apple just turned back upside. So watch out here. The NASDAQ is starting to take out some of these highs right now. What is that level right here? 13,000. Let's watch out for NASDAQ now marching to the high side on good April ISM numbers, I guess, here out at 10 o'clock we're coming. So we'll have to watch out for that, as I don't know what they think, but right now ISM on everyone's mind, I guess, in 3 minutes.
Okay, here's the top on the NASDAQ right now. This 13,000 is coming into play. XPeng was the other one. Neo, obviously, with the delivery numbers. XPeng up 4% now and screaming towards this 26 high from Friday. NVIDIA just took out the top. It got through 190, got to 191. As I said, there's room to 200. On NVIDIA. RDBX just made another turn to the upside. The big level there, and once you're through that high of the day, and of course I take the break the first time and not the second time, but once you're through that high, $9 and then $10 were the two levels that we looked at on the daily chart. Looks like we got to 866, so neither one of those has come into play just yet. There's your 9. Check that. There's your 10, and then 1150 also in play on our DBX. So multiple key levels to that upside. Pinduo Duo never gave the dip. It just only elected for the rip. However, it did not get through $45 what we were looking at. It got to $44.99 and then is putting in a bit of a reversal. So obviously we didn't get into that. No 45 break yet on PDD.
I don't know. I guess Arun must have put in all these alerts in here because they're all starting to fire off here on my e-signal, which is fine. Just Facebook through 210. I mean, we called that earlier. That's $10 straight to the upside. And look what's happening again. We'll bang it off now for Apple. I mean, again, my number one name on the sticky note today. Apple continues to work, man. We just shorted again at 157.60. And I mean, it's just tick, 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 boom right now to the downside here for Apple. Let's put another one near 157 if we can get that bid. We'll do that. Here it comes, like faster than we thought here, right back into the downside now. So yeah, everything working out for us today. Should be knocking on wood for that. But here comes knock on wood. How about knock on Robinhood here as we'll go. I'm honestly, I'm just going to get out of pretty much everything of Robinhood right now. We'll sit here and see where we go on Robinhood. Take those 91s or 92s there and just see where we go for Robinhood. As right now, there goes Apple cranking back down into the downside. We have ISM coming right now, so that's going to be something to look at. Little levels to talk about there. Now that Facebook has ramped itself like right through the freaking roof. This has been a name that I bought recently. We talked about that, buying this before earnings at 170. What a lucky buy that was, man. Now you're up to 210 and Rip City right now on Facebook as that just continues to make new highs here on the day. 210, 210.50 coming through there as we have 70 cents in the money right now with Apple. Downside. I'm just going to keep watching this short, man. If this is going to be the one that prints for me, then hallelujah on that one. I like this trade. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day today. We're absolutely destroying this Apple trade. Everything coming back in. NEO has been really the thorn in my side here. We're still going to be positive on it, but NEO, a name that didn't work as now, Neil, I don't know if you have any shorts on board, but this market is cranking right now to the downside.
Just Robinhood. I mean, as long as Robinhood doesn't break.
Good, yeah.
I just got into RDBX off of 9. We talked about 9, 10, and then 11.50 being key levels. RDBX, I just got it. But I wanted to quickly talk about Tesla. It did not, I didn't reload the short up here. I don't like it the second time through, so I am not going to be playing Tesla to the short side off of these at 880 to 885 level. If we break here, room to 910, I'd prefer to buy a dip, have it fail break 885, and then try to buy dips around 870. That's just the preferred way I like to get into it, but it is 10 o'clock, so let's get to Brendan and happening now.
Yeah, wild ride, guys. To start things off, here we go. Look at some mixed numbers now. Overall, S&P 0.2 to the upside, the Dow the same. Wild ride for the Russell, all three of them, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Volatility just all over the place so far this morning. It is a NASDAQ. Some tech stocks still trying to lead here, about 0.5% for both the composite and the 100. We're back to the downside for the TSX here in Toronto. A couple things we mentioned pre-market. Alibaba, yeah, these Chinese stocks with a nice bounce back here, off 96, straight to the upside, back into that range from the gap up back on Friday on that headline from regulators in China. Tesla as well, nice bounce back above 875, 880, trying to hold that day highs, guys. Back over to you.
So Apple, just reviewing some of my notes here because honestly, man, I mean, we're just really, like my whole day is Apple right now today because honestly, Robinhood hasn't done much. We hit that short early. We like that trade, not doing much. What else do you guys want us to look at here? APRN, Blue Apron. I believe that's a New York name. Oh God, now it's going to take forever to do this again. Okay, let's see if I can switch over to New York quickly here. And Blue Apron now, 19 million shares. We did get an investment today on these guys. So there's Blue Apron, a nice move to the upside. Just trying to respect some of these levels around $4. So that could be something to look at here on the 20-minute. It's danced around. It got as high as 440. This isn't super sexy to me. I mean, it's a nice move, but it's just trying to get its ways here. Maybe if you take out that 414 here for Blue Apron, could be a good one. But yeah, buddy, now NEO's coming back in here. We got a nice short at 1720. And again, what we wrote down on here was we were going to look for that 1750 was going to be my stop. Unfortunately, took a few stops earlier than that here in the 30s, but it respected that 1750. Now pulling back down is NEO. This could be a good opportunity to reload that long, or sorry, get out of this short and then put the long on as NEO appears to be pretty strong here today. I know Neil had a great trade there on Tesla. NEO's kind of just flat for me today. It's a profitable name, but not doing the whole hell of a lot. As Apple is the tank city that I'm really looking at. What's up, Brenda?
Not much of a reaction there, guys. So the PMI number, we get manufacturing PMI at 945, lower than expected. Same story for the ISM manufacturing number, lower than expected as well. So it was 50.9 versus 56.3. So bigger miss than 945, but both pretty negative there.
Yeah, and the market's starting to come back. We talked about RDBX. It got to that $9 level. You guys know that it is what it is. Like, those levels are out there. And if it makes a turn off of the level, then it's just that quick little short off of that high and then give it to that stop. And that was the level on the daily at 9. And the same thing would be in play if it got to 10, and the same thing would be in play if it got to 1150. So, again, I'm already out of it. It's not about sitting there and holding it forever. Like, you hit your stop level. And I could have, on the short, off the halt, that was one where I elected to see if we could hit that home run. So we shorted the 88. We ended up getting out at 7, and it did get down to $6. We just kind of looked that gift horse in the mouth when it did come. But starting to look this gift horse in the mouth on NVIDIA, it got to that 191. It's still trending here to the upside. But if this can't hold VWAP now, you remember, we never took out the high in the futures. Like, we didn't actually get through this 13. So anything that's still sort of not really going to be in that breakout territory is still valid for any kind of a short opportunity. And NVIDIA is not going to get to 200 unless we take out 13,000. That's going to be obvious here. It never got the fill on Intel. For me, I don't think, unless the market breaks out, it seems pretty unlikely Intel's going to get that 45 level. So 43, very much in play for Intel. And I did not reload on Tesla to take that a second time. Look how strong Tesla is. I just showed you NVIDIA back into VWAP, Intel looking relatively weak, but Tesla holding right near that 885. I don't think it's worth reloading at this short, because if Tesla takes the top, it should go gangbusters. You know what can happen when Tesla gets going. When it shows strength, it's just pretty much inevitable. Ridiculously inevitable that this is going to grind to the upside, and 910 more than 900, the big level above here.
I think you use the right word there, grinding. I mean, this market today, it has no clue what it wants to do.
It's going to die, I think.
It's either going to, yeah, I mean, to say it's going to go up or down right now, I think it's just trying to make an educated guess based on, I'm not sure. The Fed is coming. We already know it's 99.8% chance of that 50-point hike coming on Wednesday. So I feel like the market just trying to figure itself out. The Nasdaq's still up that 0.43, and now retesting back down here near to the 50 period. So, I mean, we are just like cashing out on this Apple. I mean, if we can't respect that 158 level, and again, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Hit my sticky note up there, Valeria, on a post there. But you can see right here, 158. Let's try the short into 158. Not only did we try that short, but we banked it like 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're making new lows here. Not new lows. I mean, the new low is down here to 155, where we also have, like, we have top tick today and bottom tick today on Apple. So let's see if that move can, yeah, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day today. So we'll drop some booms and go over to the big desk.
Another one that has been a runner in the past, guys, Black Box Stocks, BLBX. Just halted downside on this node. So they're teaming up with E-Trade, integration with E-Trade on their platform. So, yeah, a downside halt for BLBX on that, guys, for 11%.
Ooh, that is ugly. We'll definitely get a quick look at that. I wanted to show Pinduoduo. No breakout at 45. Obviously, you can sort of see that here, but it is coming back into this 43. I mentioned that I like the 43 dip. I didn't explain why. If you look at Friday's action, look at it pre-market, after the open, and then in the midst of the market getting destroyed, Pinduoduo managed to hold out at that 43 level. So we get down there, and that is one that we like for a long side of the trade. So we're going to get back into this. Unfortunately, it looks like NVIDIA does not hold up at 187. So you're now going to see me in out of that long. Only thing left for the dip would be this PDD that we do like. And if you go back over to Tesla, I did mention I did not like reloading on the short. It looks like it would have been a good call to get back in on Tesla. That one looking pretty strong. And we did not mention once Microsoft here, but I will go to Softy. It didn't break out the top at 280. Just have a quick look at this 281 level. This is just a wick high, 281. Bit of resistance, or sorry, bit of support if you go back to Thursday, and then you had support on Wednesday at about 278. So it's in the midst of that channel. If the market can get through 13,000, Microsoft 281 makes sense. No matter what happens, if we do take out the lows here, I will try Softy in front of 270, and that's going to be valid pretty much all week, with the exception of the moment that the Fed number comes out, because I don't like to play those. Your levels don't matter when the Fed drops on Wednesday.
They dropped those bombs. Yeah, we won't be playing any levels on Wednesday. We will, but not until they come through. Okay, NIO there. So we are reloaded now to the upside. Again, this is going to be one of those slippery slope type of positions here that I talk about, where I just feel like NIO is going to be strong. I mean, we are now $1.80 now. I mean, Apple is an absolute monster to the downside. I mean, all these reloads have just been disgusting for me, and we're really happy to have done them. But right now, we will test NIO. I'm not going to give it too much lower than this 90 here. So if we break back below 90 right now, we'll give it that 13 cents or 15 cents, something like that to the downside there on a NIO break. So if that breaks down, that's good. Well, not good, but that's where we're going to get out. We're not going to try to push our luck too much here. Why did I just get out there at 05? That must have been a order that we didn't realize we had. Obviously, we're not going to take 2 cents there on NIO. So, okay. But anyways, all right, out of a little piece there, didn't mean to do that, but we are trying to scalp this. Again, if we're going to give it 13 cents to the downside here, remember, we're cashing in like crazy on this Apple trade, which is now $2 into the money, but maybe we don't need to be holding this. If the market's going to crash, we don't want to give up all of our profits on Apple back here for NIO. But again, look, the market's coming in and NIO's holding up here. So I'm pretty happy holding this one. Let's just see where it goes. If it does take down this VWAP, it takes it down, and we're wrong. But for right now, it's holding up. If the market reverses into a long, then I think that NIO does have this chance to get back into 1730, 1740. So let's see if that has an opportunity to move through here pretty soon. But 1720, a good target area. Why not get some out in the teens if we go up there? But right now, man, Apple, I mean, we maybe just get this out. Let's put another piece down here, 155.40. Holy shoot. We are coming back in right now on Apple, gangbusters right now.
Yeah, this market's starting to drop a little bit here. Remember Teladoc? Actually, Teladoc broke that 35, so I didn't have it on the radar. We traded 2 days in a row, and it looks like if it gets back to this 35, the break is still at least valid. This is what we're looking at. It couldn't get through this price on Friday when we reversed into the long, and it looks like it's trying to chew through it. I didn't get Pinduo Duo to the long side, which is crazy. It looks like it still has yet to pull back far enough, but RDBX, it did go through 9. The next look up would have been $10. It just got to $9.50. Not going to try a curl at $9.50. Only $10. And again, if you're long, maybe it's not a horrible place. You got to take profit at some point. I like 10 as the next level in for me. I got to check to see why we're not getting filled in PDD. Like, it's still holding up 43.50 as the market screams back into the downside. A little bit surprised there, but 43 and then 42.80 would be your out. That is simply Friday's low. I don't want to hold this through Friday's low. It doesn't make any sense. But Hood is the one thing left in. And have a look at Hood.
There.
It's done absolutely nothing. It did the break. It then tried to take out the high. Could not do so through 10. 10.05, we'll call it. I mean, it got through 10.02. 10.05 realistically, if we're below that price, it's still pretty valid. 10.25 also a pretty big level as well for Robinhood. It's not really doing much of anything, guys. It's just kind of sort of hanging around. And if the market rolls over, I do like that one for the short side of the trade. And just to go back over to Tesla, it's showing still some relative strength, holding up in positive territory. Just have a quick look at that 885, guys. Lots of room. If it holds this bull flag and tries to break out, remember Tesla has room to 910. Just don't want to overdo it. The market is not breaking the range in either direction at this point. So until we get a breakout or a test of support, I'm going to be looking at RDBX, which just got to 10 right now.
Justin came message and was like, hey guys, throw an advertisement for this newsletter that he's working on. And I said, why am I going to advertise something when you are literally the man? So right now we do have, I don't know if it's time to throw it over here or not, but we're going to throw it over to Brendan as I see Justin right there. And Justin, it's also Maple Leaf Day, Justin, for the playoffs there. But let's go over to Brendan and see what's cooking.
Yeah, quickly, guys. VRU, back to the downside here. There was a note on Vuru. We've been talking about this over the past couple of days. That was the initial note, rising on regulatory update, anyways, for their COVID-19 therapy. But back to the downside here, 2%. We're about to take out this level from Friday as well for VERU, heavy sell volume. In the meantime, Justin Kozach joining us to discuss, as we said, a morning newsletter. I wasn't even aware of this. Tell us about it.
Right. So we've been, for the last couple of weeks, we've been working on the opening bell, inspired a lot by Tony and his dance moves with the opening bell. We decided to put together a bi-weekly newsletter where you can get the latest the latest blog content, clips from the YouTube channel, and as well anything related to trading stocks, tips, strategies, ideas.
Great.
And you know,
Where do they find it?
so anybody can sign up for this at daytradetheworld.com/opening. Throw in your name, your email address, and we'll send you the next newsletter. And a lucky recipient will receive an autographed picture of Sean.
Hey.
So there you go.
Can I sign up?
Absolutely. We will. I think I know where you work. We'll send it over. So
do we have a link? We'll grab a link, maybe get it out to people if they want. And
I'll throw the link in chat when I get back to the desk.
Awesome.
Yeah, but daytradetheworld.com/opening. Next one goes out tomorrow morning at 2:30 a.m. So well ahead of the opening bell. So lots of time to prepare and read the content and check out everything that is going on in the world of day trading.
And it's called
The Opening Bell.
The Opening Bell. Bi-weekly, you said.
Bi-weekly. So every second Tuesday.
Amazing.
So there you go. That's it.
There he is, Justin Kozach, marketing guy here at Day Trade the World. Yeah, we'll grab that link, guys. We'll throw it in the chat as soon as Justin gets back to his desk if you're interested in that. Tomorrow morning, 2 a.m.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about, because
money,
you know, who better to talk about that than Justin? So a money newsletter to match with some of these money trades. As right now, we just tweeted it out, man, talking about Apple and its move to the downside. We gave this 158 numerous times. We reloaded it 5 times, and now Apple's down here. Unfortunately, we are pretty light on this name right now, but we are out. Not out. We still are in it, but we are out of NEO. Apple right now, guys, $2.50 in the money, as I hear Greg yelling in the background about it, but too late right now. We'll see if Apple can take down that 155. If you like that level, I think there's more downside here. The NASDAQ hasn't even cracked yet, so if you're worried about Apple, this is what it looks like on the daily chart, but man, did we hit this one proper today. And we also got out of our NIO for as little damage as we possibly could have, man. Most of them out there, 95, 96. We just didn't want to see this thing break, which it's doing right now, out of NEO, so saved ourselves there. Brendo again.
Another one leaning on the market here, a little Amazon, guys. 2.5-year lows for Amazon out of the gate here this morning, down to 23.5 almost, but trying to recover a little bit. 3.25% again today for Amazon.
I remember 2,500. We weren't on the show. It was like before 2 o'clock that it happened. Took that break, and then the second time Amazon got through 2,500 was the time that it went. But that stock it's in a world of hurt. I mean, you talk about support being a ways away. It is for that one. RDBX did go to 10. The last time it checked down to $8, I was able to get it all out. It didn't quite get to 9, so I do still have some of the short left, but it looks like it's trying to put another salvo in. And you can be long, but if I'm not, I took the break the first time, and when that didn't work out, I didn't get it the second time because it had halted into that move. It looks like 9, 10, 11.50 would be valid, but if it takes out $10, I'm just going to get out of the last of this trade. I got the Pinduoduo long. Looks like it's the only one that did come in here. But guess what we're going to be back into? Well, not just yet. I want to get to BABA on the 15-minute. If BABA gets below this 98 level again, you've got a wick top failing at 100, and the short becomes valid at the exact same price, that 97 entry that we had the first time. Otherwise, you're fading off the 100. And I'm pretty sure what Greg was mentioning was the 155. There's no size on there in Apple. Like it's just a round number. There was nothing on that bid, so you can pretty much forget about it. But I think the bigger level might be Thursday. That 154 level. You go back to the 26. Maybe that's why there was nothing on that support of 155.
Ooh, chicken cassoulet today with chickpea. Okay.
What is that? I'm on the salad now, by the way.
You switched over to salad. Okay, all right.
Well,
Neil,
I was eating your salad.
I see you.
I was eating your salad every single day.
Yeah, you liked it. Yeah, it's good, man. Okay, yeah, I like that salad too. All right, so cassoulet coming with some chicken coming through there. Good out on NEO, first of all. I mean, if you guys are still holding that, we wanted to go long here. We thought there was some strength, but obviously not as it's coming to the downside. Our Apple is just killing it right now too. That move to the downside, we've talked about that, 250 in the money. A new name that I wanted to look at though was Facebook. I think this is probably worth a test here. It's the only problem is I am not certain of where this move wants to take us here in the futures. I know I want to be long Facebook rather than short, so let's start a position right now in FB, basically just against these levels right here. 205.50, definitely worth holding for me. Wow, in at 73 right now on Facebook. Let's see if it takes out some O's. I'll sit at O's if we can get that. But again, maybe you know, there's kind of double the logic here. And what I was sort of thinking was you could be into a situation here on Facebook where the market just starts to sell names that are already up because it's like, no, the market wants to go down. And if you're up 2 or 3%, maybe these are the names that get sold off today. I'm going to play the other side of that and just see what the NASDAQ wants to do. And if we're able to hold out for a rally back to the upside, then I know that we have the name that we want to be long. And that's going to be Facebook. Almost printed me there for 40 cents right off that. All sometimes you got to do is just talk about it as Facebook. Come on, I'm at O's. Boom, there it goes. Ooh, I didn't even get out there. What happened? Maybe I didn't even put an order as Facebook right there ripping. Facebook $1 in the money, Neil. Boom, it's good to be back, baby. What kind of a day is this? Whoa, as there it goes. We're back here. The energy is back in the building for me, and we are ready to rock and roll. What a great day to trade this is, man. Glad to be back and glad you're with us. It's Trader TV Live, the livest channel on YouTube.
You know, I just got, you got to be kidding me. I just tried to smack a Tesla off of 867 here, right at VWAP. It's going to happen to you. You're sort of live trading, tried to cross the spread there and going to end up missing out. Tesla just bounced like absolute godness. Oh my goodness, that's so frustrating. That is so incredibly frustrating on Tesla. I've been sitting this one, waiting for the dip, said don't take the break, wait for the dip buy in Tesla, and it just went $10. So that's a little bit annoying there. It looks like Bob was trying to hold that 98 level as well. Just in Redbox and, of course, Robinhood. Robinhood's done nothing. There's not, it's not a long, the short has not been invalidated, hasn't broken out the top. So I kind of feel like we'll just be sitting in this one entire day. Let's go to Brendan for the small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Lots to look at, both on the big cap side of things and small cap world. RDBX, if you got that long through the initial high, was great. Otherwise, not much to do as far as RDBX is concerned. BTTX, one that was up in the pre-market on some positive news, gave you a pretty easy fade just versus the high. Volume already dying off on this though. So 28%, but long way to go to get back below $1 is where we were trading on Friday. INVZ, this was my take on it anyways. It broke down initially in the pre-market before the open. That was 465 and then 480, 485 was the initial support from the pre-market. So we're right back to that on heavy volume, it's worth noting. So let's see what happens here for INVZ. Guys, back to you.
I mean, some of these names still look ridiculously weak in terms of where they just came back from. One of them, just XPeng and NEO, both looking pretty much exactly the same. Now they're green. XPeng's green on the session, but if you look at that wick high, like that is almost every single time that I see it, meaning it's going to be a sell for the rest of the day, even though you based out at 24, you're getting a little bit of a break here. That's just so weak when I look at that wick top. And if you see it on the 15, just to go to the higher time frame, like what does that look like to you? That looks like to me this 25.5 level, which was previous resistance back into Pinduoduo. That looks like it'll hold again at that 42.80. But that 25.5 failed to get to 26, puts the wick high right at this previous resistance level, and that's what you ran away from on Friday. So this looks like a short. And if it gets back up to 25, we're just going to have to put it on. If we don't break out the top at 13,000, then unless it's uber strong, you got to play it in the other direction. And the news was to the south side on XPeng. I'm like you on NEO. That ended up being a bit of a nothing burger overall. But I look at the volatility in XPeng, and I look at that 25.5 level. And if we get back there, at least close to it, I'm going to try to put the short on in for XPeng. PDD was one of those wick bottoms, like right as we were trying to get Tesla, like it wicked me out. And then proceeded to consolidate after failed breaking through that 42.80 level. So if it's a failed break up and rejects, I would short it again. If it's a failed break down and rejects, I just jump right back into the long position. So that kind of cuts both ways. I didn't take BAWA to the long side. You can probably play it as well. It also bounced off 98. I just prefer to Pinduoduo long around here. If we get the 43.50, we'll take some out. We'll definitely get more shares out in front of 44 and all out in front of 45. 45 has been a big level on PDD. No need to try to hold through that like a hero because this market, again, has not broken out.
Yeah, no, we've got some pretty hero plays today for sure. We're going to go long on NEO right now as well, just trying to absorb that 1670 level there. Let's see if that means anything. We're going to average into this play as well to the downside. But look at this, man. $1.70 in the money on Facebook. We just put this on literally 3 minutes ago. $1.70 now in the money on that. $3 now in the money on Apple. And yeah, so I'm kind of trying to switch it up a little bit here, holding a little bit more to the downside. I mean, it's a $3 winner one side, $2 now in the money on Facebook as that continues to make a move to the upside here again. So we're easily at the highest spot we've been at here all day, so it's working out for us right now. Robinhood, you're going to see me in that, but literally I have 5% of my position left, and I'm just waiting to see what that one does. Looking for some more names, man, but everything is going really, really well right now, so I can't really complain about anything that we're doing. As wow, things just getting better, man, as Neo starts to go in the money now for me. Just a quick look at a name that's been SoFi is $6. Wow, like
there's so many things.
So many things are like I was looking at DraftKings today, $13. Like how I got out of that name at 60, honestly, just like Coinbase at 360, Disney at 180. Like there was so many good sells, but then also some bad buys on the way down as well. Trying to pick up some PayPal, trying to pick up some. Well, thank God we got out of Teladoc. Remember we talked about that, man, when that was $87. Now it's 30. But yeah, anyways, SoFi. Just want to look at it because it is bouncing off $6 was the low today. If you scroll down, there's some decent size there at 6 as well. So where is it? Right there. So there's some kind of size there at $6 on SoFi. Not that that's going to mean anything, but if you did want to look at a name that's been pretty beat down here, SoFi just came from 620 all the way down on this move. So maybe there's some kind of a value to be picked up here using 6 as a bottom for SoFi. But wow, we're just going to continue to watch some of these trades, man, that we have on board. Still 35 minutes left before we throw it back over. Uber as well, down through 30 or close enough to $30 right now, Uber. Its 52-week low is 28, so we're getting low now. Did Uber break 30 today? No, it didn't. It got down to 30.17 there for Uber. Wow, look at this. My net is through the roof. As Facebook right now, man, if you guys got any longs, right now you're cashing Facebook right now. $2 now in the money on Facebook. Let's go, guys. Big time moves to the upside. Brendo.
Oil, guys, worth noting. Oil's still negative, but moving back to the upside. Some of the individual energy companies having quite the day here. Here's Oxy straight to the upside since the word go this morning. CVX, I should say, on an upgrade as well. Very, very strong.
Yeah, CVX looking strong. They got that upgrade, of course, and like Oxy, it's been relatively weak in my mind. It's got some key levels that I think we'll get to in a quick second, but Tesla is back at that 885. So it is what it is. We wanted the dip on VWAP instead of the break. We ended up getting it, so we'll have to be pissed off with it. I'm only mad because I actually sat this one out after that first trade to try and catch the dip buy and then don't get it, and you got the $10 in the money. And I still think if it gets to 885 and we take out 13, this is the trade that can get you to 900 to 910, and I love that level if we can catch it. I just grabbed some out of Pinduoduo, and watch out for that RDBX. It doesn't matter what direction you're trading in, but if it now takes out $10, it's got room to 1150. Someone in the chat was like, 1150, that's crazy. It's just a matter of if it keeps on going, where is the next place to play the turn? $9 was a good turn and it worked, and 10 was a good turn, and then you pop up to 1150, and that's pretty much it. It was support after the first squeeze. It was resistance after it capitulated. So that's pretty logically the next level that I think will make a lot of sense, and that did not take long, Tesla. Already at that 85 level. Let's see if we can hold a bit above this price. If it does a failed break, I think we're looking to buy the dip still because we're looking at that 13,000. If that gets taken out, bye-bye. We got a jailbreak to the upside.
Yeah, really, yeah. I mean, jailbreaking right now. The market's trying to go. Facebook, by the way, now, guys, $3 now in the money. Pretty happy with that entry. Got to be patient, and we were very, very patient with this Facebook trade. So that came back into VWAP there. We took it. We're happy with it. It's a nice play for me here on FB to the downside, hopefully. To the upside as that's trying to go. Neo as well, man. Neo really paid off here as we went over to another strong name. We're playing these strengths. Look where Neo is right now, guys. Like we're able to get this out at 0405. We just went long again right down there at 1680 and talked about why we liked it. So far so good here on that Neo trade, right up to the upside, rocking and rolling here. Robinhood, small position. We're going to wait to see if it goes to 1050 on this one, but we are having a great day here, and we've made some good calls. We had that short on Apple, which is really cashing in. I'm debating, we're small, we have a position, it's $2 in the money, but we are debating on the reload rate here. It's just for now, trying to watch out. Remember, Europe is closed today, right? So that's definitely having...
Is it all of Europe? I thought it was just a bank holiday for London.
I'm pretty sure it's all of Europe.
Is it all of Europe?
But Valeria, is Europe open? Okay.
We'll
no response
find
on
out
that,
in a
but she'll find out there about Europe because that's what she does. 270 now in the money on Facebook. We'll find out. It could be wrong on that one. It could just
for sure. London's a bank holiday today.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. So it could just be that one. But the market ripping around here as we go, guys. So we'll find out in a couple seconds what's up with Europe. But so far, so good here today.
Just got into XPeng for the first time here off of this little curl at 25. And again, they had 25.50 is a pretty key level. And as long as it's below that, and as long as we're not above that 13,000 mark, then we will play this one. That's still valid after that wick top. Miss V?
Guys, European markets are open. Only London is on a holiday, and yeah, we're open and in a negative territory. By the way, while I'm here, guys, it's like o'clock. Please don't forget to like this video. We're now at 1,500, and it would be really nice if you help us to get 2,000 likes today. Back to you guys.
Why do I keep seeing ZYME in the chat? Zyme moving today? Whoops, that one.
Maybe.
Oh, it is going. Just anyone that's watching ZYME move, remember that it was an unsolicited 1050 offer. And obviously, we said this before, the board not being interested in this would probably make them overly bullish on obviously the one drug, they got their cancer drug. But if it does manage to break out, forget about 1050. I think it's not that relevant at this particular point because they have not really engaged with the takeout offer. You're looking at 7. You're looking at this level, 780. Man, they could not chew through this whatsoever on Friday. That is a monster level that I think pretty much, it's going to be a crowded trade short. If this gets to this price, almost everybody is going to be looking to short that at 750 going into it. Tesla is now looking really strong above that 885. It's caught a little bit of a bid. The second time, usually a lot better for the breakout. The first time through, it could not get through. Now the second time, it looks like Tesla is trying to take it out. So we're above that threshold. 13,000 hasn't come just yet. But if it does, man, Tesla, there's so much room. 900, 910 definitely in play here for Tesla. Of course, I'm not that happy that I missed out on that dip, but it is what it is. We said if it got above that 885 and could hold a bit up there, that I wanted to make sure that we got that. Will I scalp some out? Yeah, I guess realize if I don't scalp some of this out, I'd be an idiot because this was before we took out 13,000. I actually looked over and was like, we're at 13,000. We weren't. We just took it now. Now the hold into 900 to 910, that target range is going to be on. And yes, I am long Tesla short XPeng, but if XPeng breaks that 25.5, I got to get out.
So $4 in the money, and we're just gonna have to wait to see here, man. It went right back up to the day's high here, Facebook. So couldn't be happier with the way this trade is planning itself out right now for us. Could not also, wow. This NEO, man, wow, did we play it properly with the relative strength. We initially were talking shorts, right? And then we went long right here, noticed that this was going to be a problem, waited for it to bottom out, and then boom, to the upside. There goes NIO, now through 1730. This is definitely a great day here today. It's only 10:30. I feel like, again, I don't know, just being off here last couple days, definitely throwing me off on the timing here. But right now, it is time to go back over. $4 in the money on Facebook. Maybe a reload possibility in Apple. That's why we're holding this. Apple right back to 158. What's up, Ms. V?
Big flush there, guys, for Redbox, RDBX back to the downside through 9. Also, just on a note on NVIDIA, huge monster call volume coming in. Big levels, we said this morning anyways. But NVIDIA testing highs as we speak. Let's get a check on, speaking of Europe, let's get a check on how things are shaping up. 1 hour left over there, Ms. V. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets start a new month in a negative territory. UK is on holiday. Airbus is down more than 1% despite taking a large order from airline Qantas for its London-Sydney route. Back to you.
Yeah, back we go. But back to the upside at this point, guys. 0.8 right now for the S&P.
Yeah, big time movement back up to the upside there as well. Couldn't be happier, man. We're rolling with this now as we did just, and I don't know, like, are we just reading this like crazy today. As Apple, look at that, another short, another okay. We're reloaded on this Apple short. We'll try to have some more diamond hands on this one, but there it is. It's the reload there for Apple to the downside. We just took that short at 60. Now you're back down into the 20s. We take another piece out on that name, and we're still $4 in the money debating getting out of Facebook as we're at these highs here. So that's going to be a good one for us. Apple right now, Facebook now testing that 211. We're long 206. So nice $4.5, $5 winner here for Facebook. And I think this is worth holding, man. That 210 range, trying to break out past that. Let's see. Next stop, 240. That's going to be a long ways away. But for right now, let's hold on to this Facebook trade.
I'm going to hit this one for you guys. Look, congratulations if you got the long on RGBX on the break. I took it the first time, didn't take it the second time. But that $10 level did reject, held out some for VWAP. I just got all out at 850. If you look at it, this is a 3-minute, by the way. So if you have it on 1 minute, VWAP obviously a little bit different. But it just bounced the second time here. Every single time it pulls back, it looks like it's trying to respect support. It didn't quite do it on the halt down, but it definitely did it off 9. It looks like it's trying to do it off of 10 as well. And if we get through 39,000 on Bitcoin, we could be headed up to that 40. I have not yet looked at Coinbase, but I will quickly get there just now because we talked about this last week. Whoops, Coinbase on the NASDAQ last I checked. We talked about these all-time lows here on Coinbase that it was putting in. Oh, come on, chart. Give me a break. That's a little bit annoying. About these all-time lows that were put on Facebook. There we go, the 15-minute finally loading up. Big support just got held on what was a failed breakthrough, both on Friday and then again this morning on Coinbase. It failed to break through that previous 113 level and is now booming to the upside. There's room to $130 on Coinbase, and if we get to 40,000, you better believe Coinbase could be on a bit of a jailbreak. Just a momentum play. I'm not really endorsing, picking up shares in the long term or anything. I'm just saying, if you look at that failed breakdown off the all-time low, it's now got support at 116 and a lot of room to run here. Tesla making a march toward that 900. It could turn at 900. Flip. It could turn at 900 here. It's certainly possible. If it does, I still want to try to hold out for this 910. 910 was the previous resistance. It got through very, very briefly when we had the long on Friday. I'm not anticipating, like last, I held through and then I gave up like $8 getting out at 925 when I made the 930 top. This time I'll take it out between 900 and 910, just bagging the profit when we get it. But 13,000 is gone. That means hold the Tesla long, holding the pin duo long. Somehow Robinhood and Xpeng have not stopped out yet. These longs look like they're good, so I'm anticipating those shorts are going to get stopped out, and it's the longs we'll be holding on to.
Yeah. Okay, we are 50 cents in the money. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing here about the longs. We're 50 cents now in the money on NIO as that just continues to take out the day's high again on that reload. So really happy with this trade, needless to say, here on NIO as that's still making moves to the upside. So let's just wait to see if we're able to get that now. NIO, if it takes out the high, we'll be sitting there. We have shares. We're happy with it. We'll see if that's going to work. On a crazy reload here again. For this Apple, we were able to just destroy this downside one more time as there's the tick for us to get out there. So Apple, boom. I mean, I couldn't be happier with this one as we're just counting up the dollars here as Apple continues to make its move back down into what is going to be support, I guess, now 156. So we'll see about taking that if we can get that here on AAPL. So again, another name for us that we're watching as it's starting to make moves, and we just reloaded that. So that's worth a bang for sure. Hopefully you guys are taking some of these trades. If not, that's good, man. Trade your own book, and that's the whole thing. Like last week, Arun, I don't know how he's doing on the equity side, but holding things, good moves. Some days worth holding, some days worth scalping. I'm obviously much more of a scalper. I believe Neil is too, I guess.
I'm in the middle. We had sort of the conversation.
Yeah, I'm in the middle now too, which has been a good profitability for us. I mean, but again, it's taking more share. Like what's really made the difference is like just being able to take more shares and be confident on your scalps as well, right? And so, and what I mean by that is just like, being able to take shares and then get some out and then still have some on board so that you can hold it, right? So again, a lot of stuff happening here in this market, a lot of different ways to skin a cat, and I'm really glad to be here to drop some of my grenades through because it's been a monster day for us, man, and we're just going to continue this as it goes. Right now, still 20 minutes to go in this market, and we're just testing days high in the NASDAQ.
A lot in the market.
in the show, before midday market comes through. But yeah, the NASDAQ right now just still wants to test highs. So a nice break of 13,000 would be nice. We're hanging out right there right now. Let's see if we get to the highs. But I'm probably just going to rest on some of these positions that I have, try to look for some more. But so far, so good here on what we're trading.
Yeah, so obviously, like just a couple of things here. I just want to get to. Remember, Arun was mentioning that long he had 41.75 to 42.10 resistance on the ES. Just if you're in the longs and you're looking for some levels, we did break out through the high on the ES, but we didn't even get to that resistance point, 41.75, before pulling back a little bit. So I think that is it does bear mentioning. And then here's the NASDAQ. It did break out through the high, through that 13,000. We're just trying to establish above that price. So if you've got levels that have settled in here, you're certainly valid. If a short that you have didn't stop out, then we haven't really broken out just yet. So they can still definitely be valid. And same thing with your long. Like if we're now breaking on the NASDAQ, it's like Tesla. Like it's pulled back in. I'm not reloading, but we're just holding. I've already scalped some out. You're just holding on to that position. Nothing has really changed in either direction here. But I would be very, very cautious. If you're caught trapped, and the ES takes out that resistance that Arun mentioned, and you're caught trapped in a bit of a short position, it could be a very, very long day for you. So make sure you adhere to your stop levels as we go to Brennan for Sector Watch.
Yeah, nice green board to show you at this point. Now we are up 0.63 for the S&P. A bit of a shift, though, in focus than what we saw both Thursday and Friday to end the week last week. A lot of strength in energy and communication stocks today. Both were among the leaders to the downside to end the week. Just showed you Oxy there, 4.5. All of them, though, with oil moving back to the upside. Oil's still negative, but a big bounce back day for some of the individual stocks. Where is it? There's Facebook, 3.5% for Meta. ATVI up 3% as well, having a nice day on that. Berkshire note over the weekend. PARA also 3.7 back to the upside. Moderna, number of different approvals for their vaccine for kids under 6 years old. So 6% move for Moderna there. Consumer discretionary, tech stocks, and industrials all to the upside today. If you take out this GPN, some of the software names are offsetting the rest of this weakness. So overall tech is positive, but definitely not leading today. Industrials nicely positive as well. Take out URI, take out some of the airlines that are to the downside, would be a lot higher. But hey, we'll take it after Friday. 0.64, guys, for the S&P. Back over to you.
All right.
After Friday, you take any move up, you'll take.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a nice move up today, but will it be, well-lived here or long-lived? I don't know. It's definitely well-lived right now for most of us taking some of these longs. And like Neil was just mentioning, there's a lot of room to the upside if you can go. So that's all part of it, right? So we're going to have to wait for that as JP Morgan hits 52-week lows as well before bouncing back. It's at 120 right now. Facebook's still testing, man, that 10. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking that we take out 11 here on Facebook off some of those reloads. NEO, we did get out another piece of NEO here as it started to break back down. Now we only have 10% left on this trade. So hopefully that will begin to print a little bit more for us and give us another opportunity to reload back down there. And we're just trying to be as specific as we can today, man, with our trades and just not step into anything that we don't love. We did talk about SoFi off that 6. Let's have another quick look at that. That's up to 621 right now. So that would have been good. Don't have it, but coulda, woulda, shoulda on SoFi as that one down to $6. I like that on a possible reload as well. So a few names to look at here, I feel like. So
answer to David Lee in the chat. Brendan's using its Icon terminal. It's similar to a Bloomberg, but it's Icon. It's very, very similar. It's almost like the same kind of thing. I want to update Pinduo Duo because it did curl. And when I was looking at the market breaking up, I thought, okay, we're going through 44. We'll get to that 45 level. Instead, rolling back over. So some weakness coming into that Chinese name. If it gets back through that 42.80, like this is a wick bottom. I got whipped out and stopped out, but this is a stop, 42.83. And so I got wicked out of the trade without it actually breaking that 42.80, really. And as long as that level is valid, I wanted to be long. If it does take it, I'll put the stop a little bit lower just so I don't get that nonsense wick again. But that's looking relatively weak here, at least it does seem. That RDBX, I'm out of it now, but you are seeing it start to roll over. It's worth noting, After that first breakout at 750, I had a halt up price of 770. That ended up being where it opened up. And that looks like that's probably the last line of defense. If you're still long this name, it's still a pretty bullish trend overall. But if it gets below that 770, it might be starting to give up that trend. Like I said, for Tesla, I think we're just holding on for the duration. If the risk to reward is too good here for Tesla, it was a short first. We didn't get the dip buy at 865, 867 here around VWAP, unfortunately. But once you miss out on a trade like that, you've got to be willing to jump in what was there, and that was that 885 break, which we obviously caught here. If it gets through 900, I think 910 still remains the key level for me, and we're going to make sure that we try to hold for that.
Okay, just trying to find some opportunities. Why don't look back a little bit at Intel here, as this was a name that we looked at, and we actually talked about it right here at this 44.50 level. So we are right back in now for Intel up to that 44.50. So this, again, on the daily, it's going to look like nothing there. On the 20-minute, this is sort of what we were looking at right here, was these highs that were put in on Friday for Intel. So that was that sort of that 44.50 look that we had on our mind there. So that could be something here to look at for Intel if you are looking for a short into 45 right now. So there are a few different opportunities here for traders of INTC if you did like a short into this market. The only thing is, like I keep mentioning here, we're up quite nicely today. So to short something right now doesn't feel like it's right. But again, Intel might be kind of prime for the pickings as we've made a nice move back to the upside. But again, you don't really want to short strength. So that's, we switched up our game on NEO. Maybe we have to do the same thing here on Intel. That wick high of 44.60, if you're going to go against it, that's what I'd go against. What's up, Brendo?
Goldman CEO on CNBC right now, guys. Just watch GS, possibly the whole market as well. ATOM, big volume spike here. Something called Disruptive Research out with a note on this one with a $100 price target. I'll just leave you with that.
I mean, okay.
100.
Fair enough. I mean, these price targets, I don't know who cares about those sometimes. But ACCD, by the way, just got to 7. I'm going to get to this, and then I'm going to go to Robinhood. ACCD just got to $7. If you go back to Friday, let's just have a quick look at how key that price is. If it chews through 7, room to squeeze. I didn't double check to see what the short interest or what the float was on this, but suffice to say it is a bit of a mover. Robinhood, and someone said, are you getting destroyed on Robinhood? Not really. Square is my worst stock, because that's the one that we had an open up on a monster range on Square. So that one, if it held at 97, to me there was like $10 to $15 worth of upside, which was worth putting it in. But Robinhood, if you look at it, the entire time, 10.25 was the level. The short was open up and valid when it took out the bottom at 970, and then it was valid till 10.25. And as long as you get out at 10.25, that's the trade. If it manages to roll over and hold, I thought there was room down to $9. And that's the structure of the trade. So it was worth putting up to 50 cents because first outs would have been down around that $9 level to try and take 50 to 75 at the 1-to-1. I told you somehow Xpeng seems to not want to hold on or break out that top. And of course, if that's starting to come back in, then flip. Tesla is also trying to pull back in here after making that break at 885. We're getting a nice consolidation, but a wick top just got put in at 13,000 on the NASDAQ. If the NASDAQ doesn't hold that 13,000, you could be pulling back in 100 points here. However, Tesla, look at how it nicely did not just roll back through, but if 880 breaks, it's a much better dip here at 865 as opposed to being stubborn and just holding it $15 again. So I'm not going to hold this through 880. If that gets broken, then I'll just try and retest it to the long at a better price.
Man, what did we miss last week? Look at this move for Intel right now. Okay, Intel right now 20 cents in the money off that reload, or not even a reload, I guess. Well, I guess it's a reload, but we were just being very, very specific, and we were just let's wait to see what happens here with our friend INTC. And yeah, I say friend because that's exactly what it is for me right now as Intel. A nice one, man. Oh, Canada for the Maple Leafs, trying to break some old habits today and actually win and get through the first round. But
not against Tampa, they're not.
They're favored, though. So just watch out for that. But yeah, I'm hoping they can get by. I mean, it's going to be a tough road there. But here we go. Intel nicely done here to the downside, man, as this name just continues to be destroyed one more time here. So Intel down, nice little move. We did also, man, take a move out here on Apple, as that reload is also cashing in right now for us. So far so good here today, as this market is crash city right now. Nice move down for Intel, as yeah, we're getting excited, man, here. Couldn't be happier, like I said, with today's trade. Barely, not even a losing name on board today. The only name that we have on board that is losing, and it's very, very slight, is Robinhood. And again, we talked about having 5% left. I'll tell you, like, the positions I have on board right now, and this one is nothing. We are just waiting for this to get to 1050. It didn't get there, but I'm frying bigger fish right now, man. Intel, 20 cents in the money, and just trying to get some more and more out of this name. So let's just keep this fun train going, to be honest with you, to the downside here. The market continues to break. Super happy. I mean, the market's still up 0.75. It's not that we're breaking anywhere, but let's see if we can get to the downside. $1.20 now in the money here for Apple. 25, 30 cents now in the money. We just put this Intel trade on minutes ago, so already rocketing up the board for me on Intel. So far so good here, man. This is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I didn't mean crashing, sorry. Market not crashing, but the market holding up, but some of these names coming back in, depending on where you have them. So I'm getting a little excited here. It's glad to be back. I said to the wife today, man, I'm super happy to come back in. It was a killer last week not being able to do this. I even tweeted out that I had FOMO, but FOMO no more. And today we hit it with some bangs. And this is what we're doing today, fattening up those pockets a little bit with stacks of cash. Let's go over there to the big screen. It's Money Talks, and it's Mr. Wiccan's neighborhood.
Hey guys, yeah, big moves to pass along once again on the currency front as well, and it's all about top of the board here, the U.S. dollar, as Frank was mentioning. Before we cut him off a couple of times, unfortunately, on some tech issues in the pre-market, 103.5 right now for the dollar index. Up, it was more than 0.5% there, but another day, another move higher for the U.S. dollar. So all of these you can see back to the downside today, outside of Turkish lira and the Russian ruble. 7% today for the ruble, back to 1.3 and change. New Zealand as well. That was actually higher on some positive data to start, but has since continued to the downside. And a nice day, or trying at least to be a nice day for Bitcoin. It did fail initially at 38,000, but back above it now, guys. Back over to you.
So I did get into ACCD off of that $7, and it's the same thing as Redbox or RDBX, where if it gets to that key level on the daily and then puts in a fail at that price, to short, give it to the high of the day, make sure you take your stop out. And that's sort of the key. Like if it hits your stop and you get out, then you just lost what you intended to. And we talked about this last week over and over again. The second you get into position and you have an out, if it hits that out and you're angry, it means that you either took too many shares or had a bad level in place. Otherwise, it's the cost of doing business. That money is gone the second you put that trade on, and it's just a matter of whether it works or not for you. So this is a setup I'll take every single time on something like on an ACCD. And speaking of this type of stock, Redbox just made another. That's not done yet, by the way. So it looks like it managed to hold that 770. It's trying to retest to those highs. If it gets through 10, 1150 is the next level up on RDBX, but the curls have worked as long as you've been willing to put them on and then take your profit. Otherwise, it's still a pretty bullish stock overall, guys. I'm just going to watch out for that. Tesla did get back in front of that 880, which I did mention. We liked the dip at 865 better. But when that stop did manage to trigger at 880, you're not going to get stubborn about it. You're going to look back to that 865. You get out, take the hit on the last of your shares, and then still look to the overall bullish trend. We have not pulled back that far in the NASDAQ. We're still up on the session. I'm going to do this because it's a little faster. We are still up on the session. It is a wick top at 1,300, but 13,000, I should say, sorry. But as long as we're able to hold either support here down 12,880, maybe even at 12,9, you still can get back to the upside. I just don't feel like you want to be disregarding any of the key levels that matter to you guys, and that's me at 880. 880 was previous resistance where we shorted on Tesla. So if it does hold below, I think you can get back in 865. That's where you'd be looking for it. XPEV, obviously, when Tesla came back down, you can see me still holding the XPEG, which I was surprised. I said I thought XPEG was going to stop me out and Tesla was going to go to 910. Looks like it's going to be the opposite of that.
Tesla's wild. Yeah, just because Neo's talking about Tesla there, let's just quickly look at Neo as that's pulled back in as well. I'm still waiting. And again, like we will put on our patient hat again here and try to be patient. Not that we're a patient. Try to be patient with some of these plays here because Neo, if it comes back in, we like this level here using that 1670. We've just been getting out. We only have now 27% left of our Intel short. So again, a lot of bank made on that trade down to the downside right now on INTC. So that is continuing to print. One name that I was like, wow, look how low that name is today. And that was Rivian. It caught me by surprise off the pre-market that we were sub 30, but Rivian's done really well today. So there are some names that are working, and it looks like Rivian is trying to be one of those names. Up to 31.50 here, wants to print. A nice little 20-minute move. Watch out for 33 today on Rivian, man. I still think that could come through. So some interesting plays here. I like Rivian to that upside. We're just going to hold on to Intel, as Intel right now is, I don't want to say crashing because it's not. I've already used that word today. But there it is, down to 44 bucks again off of that short. And it comes in right, and you know what? Like, whatever. I know I got tweeted at a lot, obviously, about missing the sticky note. But, you know, some of these levels print themselves. And we talked about that. As soon as I came in today, I talked to Neil about Intel. We were both looking at that 43 level. But right there, 44.50. Is what we wrote down for Intel. What's the high of the day here for Intel today? 44.58. So we wait there like a thief in the night and take this trade here on INTC. So again, couldn't really be happier with some of the performances here as we were very, very patient. There's 44.50, and now we're being rewarded with a 50-cent winner. So, well, 40-cent winner, but let's put something else on the bid and just take that 10 right there. But yeah, so far so good here as INTC just drip, 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 like they say, coming into the downside here. So all is well on some of these shorts, man. Facebook long was a monster. Apple's really made my day as that is still printing a little bit. Small position left on this as we are getting into the infamous HFT hour where, you know what, heading into Fed week right now.
It wasn't that bad last week. Last week it was actually a lot more movement in the middle of the day. But I guess with volatility the way that it is, I don't think that's going to surprise anybody. The last couple of here, obviously, like I said, like Tesla comes down, XPeng's going to go in the money. I thought it'd be the other way around, but we did have one long, one short. Pinduoduo is still holding above that line in the sand. Remember that 42.80, which I've now moved to 42.75 just because of that wick stop that we had, which was kind of annoying. So I want to give it a little bit more room there. And as long as Pinduoduo holds that, then I think you can re-engage in the long in front. Just remember, it's had all kinds of trouble at $45, both at the open Friday and then trying to get through at about 11:30. There was one last spike up, and then you saw it reject. If we take this down, 25s, that just turns into a short the way I thought that BABA was also going to be a short. So, you know, 42.80, 42.75 is the stop. As long as we hold above that, we're going to hold on to this long into 45. But the market's really starting to try to give it up here. And the Pinduoduo was the last long that I have on. We can try to buy some dips, but everything else looking like it's going to be failing after that failed break at 13,000 for now. Brennan?
So we got through all of the mega cap exciting tech names last week for earnings, but that doesn't mean there aren't more interesting ones to come this week, guys. Here's what's on tap for today.
Oh, man, okay.
Just a little something. I mean,
it looks like we're getting into the healthcare right now with Pfizer's on there, Teva's on there, Biogen. I mean, there's so many good names, honestly, that are on there. So I mean,
Devon and Diamondback in energy, but
I mean, your boy's not going to.
There's something else that was, crap. There was one other one that I knew for sure, and I don't see it up there.
Well, okay. Well, I'm sure it's probably up there, but you just don't see it. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one. There's MGM there as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of names that we're going to be looking at.
You know what it was? It was Expedia.
Expedia. Okay, so Expedia on there as well. We will wait just to see what this market brings us, man. I mean, it's been a crazy, crazy day as now we're starting to head back to the upside. So let's start to get out of some more of these positions. I just put something on the bid here for Intel. See if that gets cracked in as well. There it is. There's a nice little Intel fill back down at 14. So market trying to get going here. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's been a fantastic day. Only 4 minutes left until we throw you to market movers. But good day so far. A lot of names up. A lot of names up. A lot of names green today. So I think it's going to be very specific on what you're trading, on how you're doing. But if you've been rolling with us, man, it's been a good one. So thanks for watching. Very, very exciting. Robinhood, Sticky Note Nation, and everybody out there. I'm glad to be back, and it's been a great day.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness, my daily doesn't want to line up for Expedia. Hopefully, I'll get it to you in the afternoon show. But either way, this 175 that it's trying to hold on to. This is the problem with my daily chart. But this 175 that it's trying to hold on to, a pretty big line in the sand for Expedia. And when the market is relatively, it's still up on the session and pulling back in, you're seeing a lot of weakness going into those earnings, and that 175 pretty key line in the sand. Ms. V.
Hey guys, thanks for watching us. Indeed, I hope you're having a great day, a lot of opportunities on the market. So please join Prad and me right after to continue trading. And of course, don't leave without giving this video your like. Happy National Truffle Candies Day.
Truffles? Okay, well.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not going to see that for lunch.
I'm glad to be, well, no, hopefully we don't. I won't mind some shaved truffles. I think it was
that's
chocolate.
not happening.
It was chocolate truffles, I think.
That's not happening.
No, we're not getting any truffles on the salad
Although,
there today.
if they wanted to hook us up.
Yeah, well, I made the request for
wouldn't
Taco
mind
Day,
that.
and it came through, so we'll see.
Yeah, let's not talk about the taco.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You weren't here for that. Yeah.
Like, obviously, that's what has to happen. Like, the one time the tacos come
I know,
through
you're not even
is the
here.
week that I'm off. But I am going to be on your salad lunch, which it's solid, man. There's a little more protein in it now than there was before, it seems, and that's pretty consistent. It was consistent all week, at least.
Good.
But we have about 2 minutes to go before we do get those. Before we go over to the midday show. Last time, I'll quickly show you. This is now the rejection's starting to look. I started talking about it's a failed breakout at 13,000. It's starting to look like it, but it's trying to hold up support at 12.9. And as long as it does, we still have a chance for some of these longs, although you are seeing them pull back. Tesla didn't get to 860, only 875 on this dip, so not going to be in just yet.
Yeah, and then, by the way, Intel is fail city. I mean, this is honestly one of my best trades today, just to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I've made triple the amount. The thing is, I've made triple the amount on Apple today that I have on Intel. But Apple, I started trading this at 932. Intel, we put on our big boy pants and then just shorted here. And then right there again, boom, to the downside. This is really what's paying me off right now on Intel. So again, I've made triple on Apple than I have on Intel. But all of Intel really just came with this short right there. So that's been a good trade back in. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, holding on to Neo right now with a 17-cent winner, trying to bounce again off of some of those levels. But Apple will just continue to hold it. Facebook, not down to a reload spot yet. I still want to try this 206, but you are at VWAP. If you wanted to get jiggy with it, that could be a decent trade as well. But again, thanks for watching. It's been an absolutely fantastic morning. I mean, it's been back and forth like crazy. DraftKings up to 1450 right now. But yeah, I know Prad's going to be on a lot of these names. Your ACDC there as well.
It's ACCD.
Yeah, I know. The red box. I mean, there's lots of stuff happening. It's going to be a great afternoon, I feel.
Yeah, by the way, the ACCD, like through $7, there's like actually a lot of room to the upside. Does go. Like, remember, you have to have I don't say you have to have a stop here, but if you let it get through 7 on a short side trade, like, look how much room there is till the next support resistance level. 10, 11, 50 on ACCD, so do be careful with this. Always make sure you adhere to your stop. I can't wait to see how Ms. V did in Tesla. I'm sure she was trading it today. Like, there's so much activity, you had to. But it is time. We're back at 2 o'clock. We'll be throwing it now to Market Movers with Trader Pratt and Miss V. Go kill them. Go Tesla.
You've been thunderstruck. We were just like a thunderstruck over here because Sean brought up ACDC. I was pretty surprised that Miss V even knows that that song. I mean, obviously, people probably surprised I'll be that song. Let's do the intro.
I'm here to surprise you every day.
Hey, let's do it. Welcome to Market Movers. The new month, new month to go, and I got the beautiful Miss V to the side of me.
Thank you, Brad, and hey guys.